Well, good morning, my Jesus King family. How's everybody today? Here's where we'll start our gold and silver. Silver is losing ground. It got up to 92, I think, yesterday. Again, it's the stupid game. It really you just roll your eyes at it. This whole COMEX fraud is just terrible. Like, are we this stupid? Gold, as you can see, was 51.97, and at 10 o'clock goes down to 51.40, and now back at 51.80. What the fuck's the price? Nobody knows. Silver, same thing. Why is it down $4? No reason. They're shorting before tomorrow. Tomorrow, I told you, is the mark-to-market day. Every close of the month, they lower it and mark their books to it and say, hey, silver is 85, and then it goes up to 95 the next day. So it's the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. Most things made by the banks are stupid, and they kill us. Anyway, let's check on our Bitcoin price. Holy fuck. How did I get Chinese out of this? So Bitcoin is at 67,000, in big trouble. So today I was going through my channels that I look at. I was showing you the Germany. There's another better one on Germany I'm going to show you today. And then I was noticing some AI problems, which I always thought was a Ponzi scheme. And these AI videos show that all these mistakes, that if a human and an AI do the same job, the human does a better job 97% of the time. So what's the benefit of AI? Oh, you can fire all your employees, and AI will do the same job, and it's just false. AI does not do a good job. There was a guy ordering at McDonald's, and he got like $100 worth of French fries or chicken nuggets. It doesn't work. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of money. It's a waste of energy, because you need a lot of electricity apparently to keep these things. So there's a big problem with AI. I would not buy AI stocks. I would avoid those. They're all going to collapse because they're not making any money. So I will show you that. But basically, like Taco Bell. So let's get rid of our employees and we'll have AI take your order. And they fuck that up all the time. But I mean, in business, it doesn't do, if I was doing finance and then AI was doing the same job, I would do better 97% of the time. So again, I don't get the purpose of it. I never got the purpose of it. So I'm pretty good at problem solving. And I said, well, what's the problem? We'll get rid of it. We'll save money getting rid of employees. Okay. And then what's the solution? Using this AI thing. Well, how does AI do anything? And I know Alex is an AI guy. Like, he works for an AI company. And I just laugh at him. I'm going, try doing it on football betting. You can't. You're much better off not doing that. Your AI doesn't work. Okay. People are going to lose a ton of money in the stock market because people who have invested in AI, not because it works, but because it's new and they wanted to get on the game floor. And then the stocks all rose because all the idiots just listened to somebody say, oh, buy AI. Oh, I'm going to buy it. Oh, look, AI is going up. I don't know why, but I'm going to buy it. No, it doesn't work. So we will talk about that. Germany, again, we'll talk earlier, like 1915 to 1930, how basically the hyperinflation came in. And again, it's only in Reichsmarks. So if you didn't own Reichsmarks, you didn't need the wheelbarrow, which they don't tell you. It's just like the margin rates on a capital gains. Well, if you sell your gold, it's capital gain 28%. That's only if you make more than $600,000. So I mean, if you're retired and you sell an ounce of gold, you don't pay anything because you're not making any money. Your marginal tax rate for your capital goods or capital gains is zero. I gotta get my towel. So, I mean, there's a lot of big problems out there. People are just stupid. People do not take the time or can't or don't know how to problem solve. And they get caught going broke. How many times do people go broke and the banks get bailed out from the bank's bad ideas or, finance people who are idiots who don't know what they're talking about? Peter Schiff, Andy Schechtman, Jim Rickards, and you listen to these idiots and you end up losing a lot of money. They don't, but you do. Oh, buy AI stock, buy the miner stock, buy this stock, buy that stock. There was a guy who did stock for Mark McGuire, and I wrote him a nasty comment. And I said, the stock market's about to crash, and you have a guy on it saying to buy stocks, and Mark McGuire, that the stock market's going to crash, and gold and silver is the place to be, sort of like Egon. Why would you have a stock guy on and then endorse him? So I really lit him up on that. Of course, they don't have the intelligence to respond to me, and maybe they do. I don't know. I haven't heard, but I thought that. So Mark McGuire's really just trying to bring his buddies on and advertise for them. Is what Mark McGuire does with his guests. It's really got nothing to do because the guests are so stupid. But anyway, so again, you've got to get out of dollars. So the people in Germany had gold and silver were fine. Even the people who were in US dollars were fine, or British pounds. Only the people that were in Reichsmarks and stayed in Reichsmarks took the wheelbarrow and went broke. The banks got, I'm sure they got bailed out or something. And again, you look at 1929, who got hurt? The people got hurt. The banks got bailed out. People lose all their money because they're not smart. They don't listen. They should never have sold. They shouldn't have bought on margin. If they didn't buy on margin, they were okay because the stocks did come back. But then with Keynes and FDR running the show, I would have got out of it. I would have dumped my stocks and just held gold. Well, they didn't all that happened was your gold was at a bank. This is 1933. The people aren't having safes in their house and things like that. So you would take your money to the bank because you grew up in the 1880s and, you had the goldsmith and he'd keep your gold for you till Lee Van Cleef would come, or some of these guys from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly who would then rob the banks. But now you have your own private little places where you store your gold and silver, not at a bank. The bank's the last place you trust. But anyway, so in the 1930s, people had their money in gold, and then they all they did was go to the bank and say, all right, give us your gold. And then, Joe Blow's got, he's got 10 ounces, so we'll give him $200. And $200 back then was a lot of money. So don't kid yourself like, it was only $20 an ounce. That was a lot in 30. So yeah, that happened. It's not going to happen now because they don't know who has it. They don't, what are they going to do? They're not going to knock on your door. There's not enough. That'll never happen. But people got hurt in 1929 and they got hurt in what was it, 1987. They got crushed in the 70s, unless they got gold. And they got hurt in 2000 and they got hurt in 2008, where all these people who have all this money get fucked. And it happens time and time again, and it's going to happen now. So what I'm teaching you is you're preparing for it. You asked me the date. Well, I know I'm good at analyzing, but I'm not that good. I would think it's going to happen in 2026. You're going to have a stock market crash. I think we're getting to the point. You can see it with all these wars. We're going to invade Iran. Some lady in the hot tubs from Lebanon, and she's, oh, we're all scared about this war with Iran. It's really close to us. I says, we're not going to go to war with Iran. We can't beat Iran. We don't have an army. We have no men. We have no weapons. We gave it all to the Ukrainians. All we have is some planes and aircraft carriers. And you don't win a war with planes and aircraft carriers unless you're going to nuke Iran. But then they won't be able to steal all the oil. So notice where we go. Venezuela, a lot of oil. Ukraine, a lot of natural elements and oil. And now we're in Iran, which has a lot of oil. However, if they go to war with Iran, they got to fight Russia and China, and they don't want to do that. That's why they're not fighting them in Ukraine. You're not seeing the U.S. fight Russia. Russia want to fight the U.S. with this whole Ukrainian strangest war I've ever seen in my life. So we're not going to go to fight Iran and have to fight Russia. Neither team wants it because we both have nuclear weapons. So I don't know what's going on with that, but we're going there because we're broke and we want to steal their oil. And this is, that's why we're within Ukraine, is to get basically to go into Russia and steal their oil. We are broke, and people here can't understand or can't figure out a way to not say goodbye, and that's it. We're broke. We're done. Now, all we need to do is come out with a new cash backed by gold, but the bankers aren't going to want to do that, I guess. I don't know. That's their only option. Or they don't want to admit we're the U.S., we're number one. We always have gold and silver, I don't know. But this is so you can see we're collapsing because we're going to war, which are very expensive, but we don't have men. We don't, they call it now boots on the ground. What the fuck is that? But basically, we don't have any. And basically, we gave all our weapons to Ukraine. So we don't have weapons and stuff that takes a year or two to replace, which we don't have. So how are we going to invade Iran with just airplanes? All right, so you bomb them and they shoot your planes out of the sky. And the Russians have the anti-missile thing that they probably gave them. And Russia is partners. So you're really invading Russia, which you don't want to do. So I don't see that there even being a war. If it is, it'll be very quick. What are you going to do? Who are you gonna hire to go to war? What, the CIA is going to have their little army there? You're going to send Arnold Schwarzenegger in? What are you going to do? Steven Seagal? What? You don't have an army to send in there, and you wouldn't win anyway. So the whole thing is just Hollywood fairy tales, and but it shows that we're broke. We're trying to steal oil, trying to steal gold. So it just is really you gotta see what's happening, right? You can see it. You can see we're having war with everybody. We're in war with Mexico. We supplied the knowledge, and they killed the cartel, the mafia boss, because we told them where they were, and we had agents there with helping communicate and find these guys. We wanted to go in, but Mexico said we'll take care of it. So Mexico killed the mafia guy, and there's this whole war going because we did it so we can steal their oil. We're pathetic, aren't we? We have oil here, but we don't allow you to drill on it because of the other non-drill sites. Oh, you can't drill here; you'll interfere with nature. So better go to war with Mexico, Venezuela, Iran, Russia, and I like how it's almost like football, where the Lions are playing the Packers, but we bring the Rams to play the Packers because we don't have a team. So that's kind of what's happening in the war. We're fighting the Russians in Ukraine, but with Ukrainians, not with the U.S. I mean, this whole thing is so absurd. Anyway, so we'll play that. Looking at any news in the NFL, I don't really see much. Super Bowl odds, tiers, betting odds, lines, over-unders for all 32 teams. This is the stupidest thing. You want to bet on the team. This is a sport where there's injuries, so you can't. I mean, a lot of it also depends on the schedule. Do you have the easy schedule, the hard schedule? New England's going to have the hard schedule. I'd bet them under this year because they're not that good of a team. Let's see. Mock drafts. I hate mock drafts. They're the stupidest thing. Did they ever come back and say, well, here's a mock draft and the guy's drafted. Oh, and the guy sucked. Did they ever do that? Why would anybody watch the NFL draft scouting combine? Okay. Yeah, so there's nothing going on here. What else? I don't really want to talk NBA or NHL. I think what I don't like about the NBA is these guys sitting out. I love how they use the term load management. What does that fucking mean? No, the guy's sitting out. Well, I wouldn't pay the guy. It's very simple. If you sit out a game, you don't get paid. But instead, they pay them $20 million for the year, and they don't put in the contract, if you don't play, we subtract it from your salary, because why should we pay you if you're going to sit there? And this is the problem. It's very, very stupid. And, I hear the argument on the radio. Oh, Johnny paid $500 for a ticket. I guess the Pistons are playing Oklahoma, the Sooners, and I guess some guy on Oklahoma. I hate when they give initials, SGA. Who the fuck is SGA? I don't even know who that is. So can you give a fucking name? Do you not know the names? So give the name, and then he's supposedly sitting out. I don't even know if he's any good. He's one of their better players. So he's sitting out. So the guy's crying, well, I bought tickets. I'm flying in from Oklahoma, and he's not even going to play. Well, you know what, buddy? You're in Oklahoma. Why don't you? Maybe he wasn't from Oklahoma, but he was flying here to watch the game, and he's not playing. Well, too bad. So sad. He could have got hurt in the first play of the game, and were you going to cry? Don't pay. Don't go. Watch him on TV. Do you need to see a basketball game live? You got to be kidding me. So, I don't even watch it because of shit like that. I mean, I watched it in the 80s, 70s, and the 80s and 90s, and it was Isaiah and Lambeer and Bird and Magic, McHale, Kareem. Those are guys that wanted to play. The Doctor, they all wanted to play. They played. Okay, that was real basketball. What this is like high school basketball. They just stand there and take 3-point shots. There's no defense. You got guys sitting out of games. What is that? I don't feel like playing today. What did you do all day? The game's from 8 to 10 at night, and it's 2 in the afternoon. What are you doing? What are you doing that's so hard that you can't go and go play basketball for at the most 48 minutes, but you probably play 40 minutes with the halftime in there? Seems to me I go to the pool every fucking day for 45 minutes in the pool and 15 minutes on the bike. That's an hour. I'm in there more than they're playing basketball. They're in there at the most 48 minutes. But I not have a problem doing that. I can get up, I get the energy, I go in and swim, and that's it. And yet I do it every day, all year round, 365. I'm in the pool, right? Every day I'm in the pool except for when I travel. And when I'm in traveling, when I was in, Italy or wherever, I was in the pool every day, running and working out. So I don't know. It's not. If you enjoy something, do it. If you don't enjoy basketball, go fucking work at the grocery store. But if I'm the owner, I'm not putting up with that. So does your accountant, does your IT guy just say I'm not showing up today? And you're only talking about what 6-7 months of the year. What is it, like November to April? And then playoffs. Do they sit out the playoffs also? I don't know. I mean, it's crazy. So I just look, buddy, if you don't want to play for the team that you're making 25-30 million on, go fuck yourself and go work at Kroger's. I mean, that's what I would say. I wouldn't allow that. The owners seem such pussies. They seem like they can't do it. It's the same thing in the NFL. You got quarterbacks like Daniel Jones and some of these guys, just fucking cut them. What do you? No, we got it. We signed a 5-year contract. We're going to pay him 5 years. We're going to lose every game, but we're going to pay him. And I just don't understand that. And I think the Lions might be the stupidest team I've ever seen in my life. What you do in the NFL now is you sign the guy to a rookie contract, which gives you 5 years of low prices. And after that, you let him go. And then you draft another guy because they're all the same. There's very few different. There's no Lawrence Taylors. There's no Joe Montanas or Tom Brady's in the league. Very few of them. Mahomes, yes, I'm going to take care of him. Joe Burrow, of course. Chase, yes, those are exceptions. Justin Jefferson. The rest of these guys, I can go, I got to, take the Lions. They got this guy, Hutchinson. So trade him to Oakland and get Ruben Bain, and you get Ruben Bain much cheaper than Hutchinson. You paid Hutchinson $30 million with a broken leg, really smart. And what are you doing? You could get Ruben Bain for, I don't know, what, $1 million? I mean, what do you pay these guys and have them cheap for 5 years? So this is the NFL. You never sign your guys for that reason, because they all want 25-30 million, and the owners are stupid enough to give them 25-30 million. I mean, the owners are got to be the dumbest people in the world. How did they get all that money to own the team in the first place? Well, I know Detroit with Ford. It's from the Nazi lover Henry Ford. Henry Ford is in bed with Mercedes and BMW and Hitler. Okay, they're all the guy. Ford helped the Nazis, built cars for him and everything. And so he makes his money from the Nazi gold, and then so now it's like his kids running the Lions, and they're clueless. They have no idea. And they should sell. Well, they'll probably sell the team because Ford's going broke on the brilliant idea of the electric cars and AI, which I will get to, where AI is failing and people are losing, a lot of money on their little AI projects that nobody wanted and are really stupid. Anyway, so the Lions sit there and, like a bunch of idiots, they sign St. Thomas, 25-30 million, and golf, they give 50 million for a backup quarterback, and then you give up the right tackle. Why would you pay a right tackle 20-30 million? And Hutchinson with the broken leg, you pay 30 million. What are you doing? These players should be let go, especially Hutchinson. You can have him. I'll trade him for Max Crosby in a heartbeat. Here you go. We'll trade a good player for an injured player all the time. And so you can trade them, but basically you want to let them go. Why are you paying $30 million for a guy to play football? Are you insane? Go work it for, I'm lucky if I make $100,000 to do finance there. Not 30 million, not a million, not 20 million. And my job is much more valuable than a guy who plays defensive end. So it's hysterical what they do. But that's the problem, right? That's the big problem. And then the Lions went and signed a quarterback, a running back, a receiver, another receiver, your defensive end. It's 5 guys. And I think the safety who broke his Achilles, so he's done. So I think 6 guys you're paying all this money to, and the contract wasn't up. And you could easily replace them in the draft. That's the point. You draft, if you're smart enough to draft these guys, which I'm not saying the GM is, I hate when they give them credit. Oh, yeah, you drafted Hutchinson with the number 2 pick. Wow, what a brilliant GM you are. Oh, my God. You are very intelligent. Look at what you did with the number 2 pick and the number 8 pick and the running back and the receiver and all that stuff. And these are top 10 picks. Oh wow, I'm so impressed with your picks. And nothing else. The rest of it, I don't think he drafted St. Thomas. I think that was before him. They took golf, which was a huge mistake. So basically, you have a lot of shit going on in the NFL. But what you do is you keep the guy 5 years and you let him walk. And then you draft somebody else and keep the low salary. That's why a lot of these teams, like New England, they have Drake May. They don't pay him anything. And so that's why the Giants kept Daniel Jones, was because he didn't make anything, even though he sucked. They said, "Oh, that's too bad." And then Indy, what is Indy going to pay him? Are you kidding me? Why would Indy pay him? You can get a guy at the grocery store who's better than Daniel Jones. Give me a break. So why would you pay any of these guys except for Mahomes and Burrow and Stafford? Those guys are fine. Golf, I'd have let him walk. Look at Kirk Cousins. He's walking May 11th, whatever, March 11th. He's gone. They're just letting him go. Why would they pay him? He's a backup at worst. He sucks. He always is terrible. Why would you do it? Johnson, hello. How you is fine. Yeah, it's stupid, TK. These players are stupid for sitting out. Yeah, we're talking back at the basketball, these guys sitting out. Well, like I said, I would, if I'm the owner and I got a guy who can play, well, if I get anybody and I said, if you sit out, I'm not paying you for that day. Because they get paid, it's a salary, so they get paid for the year, right? It's a 2-year, $80 million contract, which means in the summer when we're not playing, you're getting paid. So you're getting paid to play. Sit outs aren't tolerable. And if the guy says, I won't sign, say, there's Kroger's. You can go work there, make $10 an hour if you'd rather. If I'm going to give you $30, $40 million a year, you're playing every game, unless you're injured, and it better be a real injury by my doctor. So if you pull a hamstring, you better be really pulling a hamstring. But yeah, it's terrible. It's bad PR. That's why I don't even watch the league. I don't respect the league. I don't respect the players. Like I say, when these guys on the radio talk about SGA, what is that? Is that like General Chow? Is that Chinese food? What are we talking about here? We don't know the players well enough to start giving them initials. It was Isaiah Thomas. It was Magic. Okay, we got him. Bird. It was Bird, not LB or whatever. Kobe, Jordan. Okay, we knew that you're using real names there, fellas. Kareem, Wilt. Not WC. Wilt Chamberlain. Just fucking say Wilt. So these abbreviations are just stupid. They go into the AI camp. Let's see what's going on in baseball. Max Scherzer's 8-year-old daughter wrote letter to Blue Jays in December. Well, at least his daughter can write to Blue Jays asking team to re-sign her dad. Boy, I'm going to cry hearing that. Major League 26 and under power rankings. 15. See, who cares? Under 26 power. How can you power? Like the Tigers have these guys that are in the minor leagues, and they say, "Oh, this is the number one minor league guy." I don't remember his name, Chapman or something. And they're like, "Oh, it's like, okay, is he any good or not?" And you don't know until he plays major league ball. So a guy in the minors is a minor leaguer. If he's any good and he's in the majors and he doesn't hit 300, he's a bum. The Tigers have a team of a lot of bums, a lot of 180, 190, 200 hitters. And it showed last year when they got into the playoffs and they got 2 hits a game. But that's, who the fuck knows? These are minor. It's just like the NBA where these guys are one and dones. Oh, they're so good, but when they get into the pros, none of them can make it because they're not good. So, the guy, these are idiots, by the way. If I was really that good and I'm playing 3 years, I'd have to develop as I showed you those Tom Brady saying the quarterbacks can throw 80 yards, but they need to develop. They need to read defenses. They need to throw the ball to the right place and read get out of a bad call and be a leader. And when you throw an interception, you got to be a man about it. You got to, and again, so they have to develop. And the point is these basketball players go to Kentucky or Duke for a year. None of them are any good. They come to the pros. None of them are any good because they haven't played. They haven't developed. You need 2 or 3 years. Basketball, playing against high school kids is not the same as playing against professionals. And so if you go play high school and then look how good I am against, it's like me playing against a guy, a girl 4'5", and I'm dominating her. Look how good I am. Oh, I'm going to do a one and done, and I'm going to go into the pros because I could beat a girl who was 4'5". I mean, that's what you have here. It's a bunch of horse shit. So if I'm a player, I'm playing 3 years, unless you're Magic Johnson. Okay, if I'm at Magic Johnson's level, I'm playing 2 years and winning a title. Larry Bird played 5 years, I think, but he didn't. I think the first year he went to Indiana, and then he got homesick and he cried and went home to Indiana State. So I don't think he played that year. It's funny listening to an Indiana guy. That's when they won undefeated, right, with Scott May and Quinn Buckner. And they said, yeah, there's Larry Bird in the locker room, but he wasn't Larry Bird that now. It was just some little guy that everybody laughed at, basically. So he needed to develop also. So these guys are one, and therefore they play in this, what is it, a G or a D league? And they want to go back to college because it's all about making money. They're there for the wrong reason. They're there to make money. They're not there to play. So go fucking play golf or something. What do you like to do? Go do that. So, they're one and dones, and basically they're in pros. They're not even one and done. They're just done. They haven't developed. They don't know the game. It's just too much for half the guys in the pros don't want to be there. They're there for the money. And I'm gonna sit out. Oh, I'm tired. I don't know why you have these guys on your team, and I don't know why you offer these guys a contract, including LeBron. I'm sorry, I wouldn't have him on my team, and I don't like him referring to being the GM, saying I'm going to trade this guy and I want this guy, and I'm demanding it or I'm not playing it. Say go to the grocery store. Because you don't win titles. You've never won a title by yourself. You've always, at Miami, you needed Dwayne Wade, so it's really stupid. But again, we're the owners putting their foot down. We're the GMs say, no, you play for me. I don't play for you. And this is a big problem. So I don't have any respect for basketball now. College is terrible. I can't name anybody on any team. I think this whole experience where they're moving around is killing the sport. You're killing the goose laying the golden eggs. College football, I can't even handicap it for 3 or 4 weeks because I don't know who's on the team. Who's Indiana? Okay, I know Josh Hoover, who's now Indiana's quarterback. I know him. He's good from TCU. Not a problem. Indiana should be good this year. I can maybe bet them. I can bet Ohio State right off the top. Teams like that. Michigan will be good with the Utah coach. He was a good coach. But other teams, you have to see who the quarterback is. That's the key to it. It's funny, DJ Langley from Florida transferred to someplace. And I'm like, who the hell? This guy's terrible. Who would pick him up? So it's really hard to watch basketball, baseball. Max Scherzer reaches deal to return to the Blue Jays. Oh, that's good. He's got to learn how to pitch to Shotani, but that's another story. This I don't like. Glenn Cooper fired by A's for racial slur, reportedly making return to broadcasting as Giants radio fill-in. He was fired in 2023 after using a racial slur on air. I mean, it's just too sensitive. How did he say it and in what way? Was it harmful or was he joking around? You know, this is just ridiculous. It's supposed to be free speech, and it apparently isn't. And so I'm up for this. I submitted for this job at some hospital or medical place as their financial analyst. It's a whopping 3-month job, and I've had 5 recruiters email me for the job, all 5 of them at different rates. So one guy yesterday asked me for my birthday. So I give him March 7th. He says, no, I need the year too. I told him to fuck off. You don't get my year. If I get the job, then I'm certainly going to give you my driver's license, which will have my date of birth on it. You get that after I get the job. You don't get it before. What are you worried about? Why are you asking for that? Are you saying, am I only over 21? Then ask that. To say, well, I need your year, then it makes me think it's a scam. What are you going to do? Put a credit card in my name with my birthday? This is what you're doing? Posing as this? Then they asked for my graduation date for my master's and my undergrad. And I said, call the school. I'm not that. First of all, that's also discriminatory because I graduated quite a while back, which will also give my age. If my birthday obviously will give my age, but I don't want to get disqualified for a job because of my age. Right. So and they're the only ones that ask for it. So I told them to fuck off. I don't give my age. I don't give my birthday. You can't. I said, you can't ask for my age. There's no reason to ask for my age. This is just the contract house, not even the company. I said, no, I don't care. I got 4 other companies that can apply. And I love how only we can apply you. And I'm like, no, I'm going to have everybody apply me. Fuck it. So they get my resume 5 times from 5 different recruiting companies. But, I looked it up online. Is it legal to ask for my age or is this age discrimination? They says, well, it's legal, but I can see, but if you get discriminated against, you can sue. Well, how do you know you get discriminated against? This is another problem with AI. I don't know that I would get discriminated against. So therefore, and maybe that's what's happening when I apply to these jobs. They hook up my record with my AI and they go, oh, this is how old he is. Well, he's too old. We don't want to give him that. Once you hit 60, oh, no. We want 40-year-olds who don't know anything, who will take a lot less. I had one company offer me, well, we can pay 65 to 70. When I stopped laughing, I said, yeah, was this 1980? What are you kidding? I don't take 65 to 70. I'm over. I'm like 110 to 120. So then she said, she says, well, how about 75 to 80? And I said, fuck off. Give me your real, stop playing games. What are you going to offer me? For what job? Don't say 65 to 70 or 70. How about 75 to 80? How about 110 to 120? Let me know when you get there. But quit fucking around. It's ridiculous. It's such bullshit. And again, I don't know if I'm even talking to a person or talking to AI. And this is the big problem we're having is this AI. That's why I want to show you these AI clips, which we'll get to. The people pay only to see the stars, not to see them all sit on the bench. Well, theoretically, you're watching the team. Now, if I went to a Piston game, and I went to a few when Isaiah and Lambeer were there, you'd go to see the team win, but you'd go to a big game. I'd go see him against Bird. Oh, it's Boston and Larry Bird. It's Magic. It's Tim Duncan. It's Jordan, whatever. You're going to see the game, and you know they're not sitting out. They want to win the game. That's why I don't understand OKC sitting out their guys against the Pistons. The Pistons are the first seed in the East. They don't want to play them. They don't want to play their best. I mean, it doesn't even make sense. So I don't even know what it is anymore, if it's even a sport. It's sort of like the NFL with the Pro Bowl is flag football. Yeah, I really want to see that because that's what they play. Try making it flag football and see how many people watch your fucking sport. Then I see Jacksonville is going to London again for 2 games, one back-to-back game. And it kills Jacksonville. That they're done after that because you're now living in London for 2 weeks. You're playing games. You're all out of it. You're now got to go different time zones and all the jet lag. And then you fly home after 2 weeks there. You got to get reestablished on your time zone and your jet lag. And you're so tired that next week I would bet heavily against them. There's no way they're going to win. So, I mean, that's what I got. But that's the problem. Let me take a picture for D. So D had a nice birthday yesterday. God, man. My phone always gets a little foggy. That's better. So again, these sports for you. So as you can see, gold's holding pretty steady and silver's taking a little drop, but we expect it at the end of the month. Again, this whole thing with COMEX is such a joke. As I explained inflation to you, it's really the money gets printed loses value, right? And the value of the money drops. And gold, you don't print, so gold always goes up. So with COMEX playing their little games, we really know what's really going on. And gold and silver are really going up much higher than they're letting on. And we just go, okay, fine. That's why I want to show you 1920 Germany. But anyway, yeah, I mean these that now it's weird. Football, nobody sits out. They play. Aaron Rodgers play with a broken wrist, and these guys, Terrell Owens played a Super Bowl with a broken ankle and had screws in it and everything. So it's just funny. Football players, hockey players, they can break their leg and they'll be out the next shift. I mean, it's incredible. Hockey players. They'll definitely play injured, but basketball players are a bunch of whiners, and I have no respect. And I don't. I'll give you picks on the playoffs, but it's purely psychology. they're down 2-0 and they have to win game 3 or they lose the series because they'll be down 3-0 and it's over. So that psychology works. And I don't think you have too many people sitting out in the playoffs. One guy said, well, they'll shorten the season. What does that do? That doesn't make sense. There's a reason they play 82 games. Is it too much? Well, there's TV contracts and ticket sales, and the owners want to make their money. So why would they agree to anything less? Well, we'll raise ticket prices. Oh yeah, that'll drive everybody away. Professor, I buyed silver yesterday, physical, and today it dropped. I am at panic. Why are you at panic? I need money in next month starting. I thought I would sell the silver, but today itself, it dropped. TK, going to do baseball picks? Yeah, I'll do some baseball picks once we get into it. Well, Kurt, you're not buying it as a stock. You're not buying it to sell it the next day. It is not an investment like a stock. It is not even an investment. It's really protection. As I'm telling you about Germany, what happened? The Reichsmark people lost all their money, and the gold and silver were fine because the value of the gold and silver didn't go down. So first of all, you shouldn't panic. Secondly, at the end of the month, it's going to drop because of this, because this is the U.S. price, right? It's going to drop because of the mark to market on the last day of the month, which is tomorrow. So you shouldn't be surprised. Now, just wait till Monday and Tuesday. It should go back up because we're dealing in some strange COMEX bullshit game, which gives you a fake price to start with. But you're buying gold and silver to hold. You're not buying it because you need to pay bills. So I'm going to buy it today, make some money, and pay the bill tomorrow. No, then you're doing the wrong thing. You're buying silver to buy. You're not buying it because it went, so if you bought it at 75, it went up to 92, but that's still not why you bought it. And you're not selling it at 92. So let's see what it's at now. So it's at 86.88, which is a fake price. It's a paper price, and gold sitting at 51.79. So, you 86.81, it's much higher than the 75 we had early end of January, early February, but that's not why you're buying it. I didn't buy this. Now I bought this at $30 an ounce. This is 2 ounces, so I paid $60 for this. So it's now basically 90, which is $180. All right. I don't think of selling it. Not 1 second do I think of selling it. Now, not to say that if I want to go on a trip or I need to pay a bill that I won't sell some gold to do it, but it was bought in 2021. I bought most of my gold in a little 2022. When I'm paying 1,800 on gold, I didn't think of selling it at 2,000. I don't think of selling it now. I really don't want to sell it now. I want to hold it until it hits 10,000 an ounce. And then maybe I'll think of selling an ounce, but not to sell it because I want to go on a vacation because I need to pay a bill. I need to, I need new glasses. I don't know, but basically that you're not trying to quickly turn it over. I don't know. So, I mean, is that how you normally invest? Do you buy stocks where you buy it today? And I bought Intel today at 25, and oh geez, it's up to 27 tomorrow. I'm going to sell it and make $2. I mean, that's a terrible way to invest. It's not what I teach. You want to buy it because you're owning it because you're getting out of dollars. So again, inflation is this being printed so it loses value. And then I get into this because this cannot be printed and cannot lose value. So that's the point. So I'm getting out of this, but I'm not buying this to resell and profit take. I'm buying it because I'm got out of dollars. Professor, please guide. Well, why are you panicking? You have physical. It's much better than the rupee you had. I am really panicking. Are there fair chances that if I wait till Monday, Tuesday, can I cover the loss? Well, put it this way, Cart, if you stayed in rupees, you're definitely going to lose. Okay. The value of the rupees like zero. So if you stay in rupees, you lose. That's the first thing. By doing a Rumpelstiltskin and getting out of rupees and getting into gold and silver, you've already won. You're out of the rupee that's worthless. So you shouldn't be paying anticipating gold and silver. I'm going to buy it and then it's going to go up a little bit and I'm going to sell it to pay my bills. I don't know what you're doing there. That's a problem. You shouldn't be doing that. You just buy and hold the silver, and that's all you do. And then you have other money. So you need enough money for a couple of months of bills, and you keep it in rupees, right? And then the extra money, if I made 5,000 a month and I pay my bills were 3,000, the other 2,000 I would put in a gold and silver, but I don't need them. And then I make 5,000 the next month. And again, I pay my bills. I got 3,000 for the bills and 2,000 for more gold and silver. So I'm taking care of the bills. And then over on the side, it's the same thing as football betting or playing poker. I'm taking money that I don't need to pay my bills with. That's your bankroll. So if I'm betting football, it's my expenses, and then my bankroll is, oh, I got $5,000 that I could lose and I don't need to pay rent with or anything. Shut the fuck up. I don't need to pay rent with. So you're not doing that correctly. Shut the fuck up. You're not doing that correctly, right? So you need money to pay your bills, and the rest of the money after paying your bills, you buy gold and silver, and you hold the gold and silver. You don't like I just said, we were at 72, 73 early February, and now we're back to what 87 is gold right now. Again, we know it's a paper price, it's not even a real price. So we're waiting because we know silver's going to go to 500. It's going to go to 1,000. So we're waiting on that. So why would I sell this at 80? Well, let's say 87 times 2. Let's say 90. Let's say 180. Why would I sell this at 180 when it's going to be 500 an ounce and I got 2 ounces here is 1,000? So I don't want to sell it now because I know it's going to be worth more, but I'm not buying it really to sell. It's let's say you bought a Picasso. You're not, well, in a month it went up, so I'm going to sell the Picasso and make the money. That's not what we're doing. That's not what you should be doing. It's got to be extra money that you can afford. That's the point of it. So I don't know what that is. That's what you're trying to do here. So it's the extra money that you're trying to do, and you're trying to buy gold and silver with that without the thought of, well, maybe if gold goes from 50, we're almost at 5,200, right? 5,190 goes 6,000. Okay, maybe you sell an ounce, but you didn't buy it to sell it at 6,000, right? So you've got to understand that you're buying it to get out of dollars. This is the primary. This is worthless. They keep printing it, so it's losing value. This is primary, so you're selling this to get into the gold and silver, but not to profit take the gold and silver, because these prices aren't even real. These are COMEX bullshit prices that are being controlled by the banks on their options, not even the market. So we're waiting for the market to really take over Russia, China, India, Saudi Arabia, and then you'll see some real prices. So you're playing the wrong game. You're not trying to do it. If you need the money, yeah, I'd probably wait till Tuesday. I'd wait till next week and you see when it really zooms up, what, Tuesday or Wednesday, when it climbs back up and it goes to, 92, 93, then if you have to sell it, I would sell it then. I wouldn't sell it at 87. Professor, I brought money from my father. I have to give back to him in next week. Well, tell your father to wait till it goes up, but uh, did you tell him you're buying gold and silver with the dollars that he's giving you and that it ebbs and flows and just wait, it's gonna go up? Have a talk with him. Relax or stay in gold and silver, and then you be very rich in wealth and life. Kartik's from India. I see you have gold. Who has gold, John C? We don't. Kart's got silver. I don't think he's got gold. You didn't tell your father? Well, Kurt, I mean, basically, if you're borrowing money from your dad, then you're really not looking to buy silver to sell it the next week to give your dad money, and you make $5. That's not what we're doing here, and it's very hard to time it. But I would just, for sure, the last day of the month they're doing this option bullshit. The banks, so it's going to go down today and tomorrow. That's for sure. Every month end, but then it jumps right back up in the beginning of the month. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it should go back into the 90s. If you have to pay your dad back the money, you're playing the wrong game. What are you making, 5-10 rupees on the gold and like that? That's crazy. So yeah, if you have to borrow money from your dad, that's not right. That's not what it's going to be. Okay, but it's got to be, if you are, it can't be, I got to pay you back next week. It's, I'm going to take this money and I'll pay you back in a year. And then it'll be 200 an ounce and then you make money on it. But to pay him back in a week is ridiculous. You have, so I know that. Wait until it goes up. Professor, I know I have committed a mistake. How to overcome? Well, I don't know how much you borrowed, and I don't know how much you got, and what you paid for your silver, and do you have a capital gains tax or a VAT in India that you got to pay when you sell it? I don't know. Then I'll just ask them for a couple of weeks. It's your father, so I would say, hey, can I pay you back at the end of the month? And then silver during the month will go to 95, and then you sell it, and provided you don't have VAT, then you'll be okay. And I don't know how much you borrowed, and you'll make a little bit of money, and you can pay them back. And so if you're doing it to make $100 here and there, this is not the thing to do. This is not what you're trying to do with gold and silver. It's a buy to hold. Like I said, I bought this, it was 30 an ounce. So it cost me 60. This is 2 ounces. But I bought this at 30. It's 90, and I'm not selling it, and I have no intention of selling it. 500, 1,000, I don't know. Maybe at 1,000 I'll sell it, but it's only if I want to go on a vacation. Otherwise, I'm not selling my gold and silver at no matter what price. I'm just going to, because it's going to keep going up, because as I read inflation, if you print, it lowers the value of whatever it is. So in this case, the dollars or your rupees or the euros, but you can't print gold. So therefore gold value will never go down. Now they're pushing it down with this bullshit options of COMEX. But if in a real world we're using gold and we're at a free market for gold, it'll never go down, because it'll never lose its value, because it can't be printed. Now, what the Romans did is they debased it. This is the only thing of debasement, everybody. They took the gold and silver out of the coins. That's what debasement is. Now, you can't debase money. So as they took the gold and silver out of the coin was less valuable. However, this is Romans. However, the gold and silver still kept their value. The gold and silver never lost its value. Just the coin did, because they took gold and silver out of it, like the Reichsmark in Germany lost its value because they kept printing it and printing it and printing it to pay off the war debts. So if you're in Reichsmarks, you're losing, which is what I'm saying now. If you're in this, they keep printing it. You got $39 trillion debt, and they're printing, I don't know, a couple billion, 100 billion, 500 billion a month to pay the Social Security and to pay the government employees. I mean, so you're constantly devaluing the dollar. It can't last much more. Nobody wants it. So we know it's collapsed, and we know as long as we can still buy gold and silver, we're going to buy it, but we're not buying it to sell it. If you get a Van Gogh, my Van Gogh guy over there, if I were to get this Van Gogh over my shoulder, so if I was to do that, I'm not buying it to sell the next day. That's a poster, but if it was real, I'm not looking to sell it, or I didn't buy it to make $100 on it. That's just bad investing. No tax. Okay, that's good. Only the COMEX price. Okay, that's good. Funny how you guys use COMEX too. I bought 1.5 kilograms. I don't know. I speak in ounces. All right, John. See, this is my class. Thank you very much. Anyway, you want to be now, Cart. You realize John C's not the expert in gold and silver. I am. So be careful what you listen to. How much he actually knows about it is not anywhere near what I know about it. So be careful there. But my point is, okay, you don't pay contacts. So what you're dealing with, Cart, is you are trying to make money quickly, but you're better off, betting football games. Then you get paid immediately. If you would have bet the Super Bowl, I gave you the Super Bowl winner. So if you would have bet $100 on that, you'd have won $100, or rupees in your case. But it's good there's no tax in the price, and I know you have a time when it is. Just follow it. Tomorrow is going to be a down day because it's the last day of the month. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it'll shoot back up. And but I don't like the game you're playing where you're buying the gold and silver. You're borrowing from your dad and you got to pay him back in a week. What is that? That's stupid. Now, if you say, Dad, can I borrow money and I'll pay you back later, or I'll pay you back in a year or however long, but you really, you need money to buy gold and silver. You should have money and not borrow it from your dad. You should have your own money. You go to work, you make money, and the extra money, as I say, you buy gold and silver with. That's how you do this. Just like anything else. My Mano card, my baseball cards, I don't go to try to sell them right away. I bought my Mano card in like 1992 or 93, or my Montana rookie. I didn't buy him yesterday and I want to sell them tomorrow. It doesn't work like that. They don't go up that quickly. So I would just hold it for a week. Ask your dad, can I pay you back after a week? I'll pay you. I got the silver, but I don't want to sell it now. But you can't try to outget COMEX. It's going to go down. It's going to go up. It's just the way it is. It's options, and just hold it. But I wouldn't, like I said, I'm not trying to sell my Maple Leaf here. I'm holding it, and that's what you do. So just hold your gold and silver as long as you can, and then when you get the price and you got to pay your dad back and you have no other option to pay him back if you don't work or have a paycheck or whatever, then pay him back. Say, give me a month. I can't pay you now. What's your dad going to do? I can't pay you now. What's he going to do to you? So that's all you can do. Just hold it, and it's COMEX. The price will shoot up and you'll be fine. I don't know what you bought. What'd you buy it at? 90, 91? So it's over 87 now. Gold's 51.86. So it's at 87.09. I don't know what you bought it at, probably 90. So it'll be back over 90. It's not like it's not going to come back for that purpose. All right. Meanwhile, we got wars in the Ukraine and wars in Venezuela. And notice how you don't hear anything more about Venezuela. Are we going to go to war with Iran? If we do, we lose. We can't go to, we don't have an army. We have jets, we have boats. That's all we have. We have no military. We have no army guys. All we have is we have the CIA, their little army that we would send in there, or maybe they're doing what they did on 24, where they the defense contractors had a military force, but we're just going to shoot on the U.S. to say, look, you need us. So fortunately, we haven't gotten to that point yet. But all these wars are because we're broke and we're trying to steal oil and gold and any natural resources we can get our hands on. This is a joke. Why we're run by the defense contractors, how that became, they're not elected officials. They're just rich guys. I'm sure they're all little mafia guys, and they basically pay all the senators and congressmen to vote any way that they want them to. And here's $1 million, and I bought you. Now I own you. And Trump is basically powerless to do anything. I was watching something on John F. Kennedy yesterday, his assassination, and it was CIA, some operative in the CIA, some group, because they were afraid he had fired the CIA director and he was going to abolish the CIA, and they got scared, and so they killed Kennedy to do that. And I guess Harry Truman started this whole defense contractor shit in 1947, and now we can't get rid of it. And now it's running the country into the ground. They don't understand money at all. They think wars are good because then people will buy the weapons, and that's good for the economy. It's like, you guys are idiots. So it's real difficult. John CTK, when will it go up for him and how much he might have paid back his father? I don't know. We'll see, probably next week, but I know tomorrow it's going down because it's the last day of the month. So this was not the right time to buy. That's why you got to understand the 10 o'clock drop that I tell you about. Yesterday it was a 4 o'clock drop. It was doing fine, 92, and then a 4 o'clock dropped it to 88, and then it ended at 90. And it's a small market, and these people are making money playing the option, selling, and then it goes down, and then they buy it, and they're making money on the options. It's disgusting. It's not the point of this. This should not be connected to the physical price of gold and silver. But I can't worry about him trying to what he's doing. I can't do anything with it. All right, what do we want to look? All right, let's start with. All right, let's start with this gold trap. Or no, it's the gold mistake. Yeah, let's start with this gold mistake in Germany.
We make trading simple. Trade what you want, how you want, with Dixie Trade.
Regardless if it's Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic the Gathering,
Shut the fuck up.
Packs on what?
The first day of world mourning.
Okay, this is what happened in the 1920s in Germany. And you'll get a feel for what's going to happen here, and then what do you do about it? Now, fundamentally, the dollar goes to zero. That's when you need the wheelbarrow, because people will, you want milk and butter and bread. It's 2 wheelbarrows full of money because the money is worthless. Now, what should happen? There's 2 things. One, there should be a new money, a USD number 2, and that's what will be used, not the USD number one that we have here. This is current USD. This blows up, and then we have a new USD number two, which, if it's not backed by anything, will last about a year. And then people will realize it's the saying, you got out of the frying pan into the fire. And the gold and silver will always survive because you can't print it and it won't lose its value. So gold never loses its value. It only goes up because of demand for it. Like now, gold's going up in value because of the demand. As you see it went from 4,000 to 5,000. What do you want to call it? The dollar lost $1,000, but yet silver didn't go up 1,000. So yeah, that argument doesn't hold water. So this is what we're looking at is the gold and the silver will stabilize. So it's only if you're in the Reichsmark did you lose, did you need the wheelbarrow, but not if you got into US dollars, gold, or silver. And the same thing here in dollars, in British pounds, in rupees, in India, it all goes to zero because you keep printing it. If the rupee's backed by gold, it won't go down. It'll stay up because of the gold will keep the value. So get your money out of the wheelbarrow money, the dollar, the rupee, the euro, and get it into gold and silver because it can't go down and you won't need a wheelbarrow. And believe me, the stores will take your gold and silver very easily. So it won't necessarily be a barter. Barters if there's zero money. If the U.S. hasn't replaced the USD number two yet, then it's a barter. Then you go to Kroger's and you say, I got an ounce of silver. And they go, welcome to the store. Thank you very much. But once there's money out there again, then you switch to that money is what's used to buy things. And so you won't have barter with gold and silver or anything else once there's a new money. So it's only when there's no money is there a barter. Well, we ran out of US one, but we haven't done US two yet. Well, how do I trade with you? That's the medium of exchange. I give you something of value for food, for clothes, for gas, to go to the gym. So what am I going to use? And that's why silver and gold never lose their value. All right, so let's watch what happened in Germany for a little bit.
Costs 14,000 marks by noon. The newspaper that cost 50,000 marks at picture this. Berlin, 1923. You're a factory worker and it's 11 in the morning. Sorry. You catch yours and you run, not walk, run. Because your wife is already at the factory gate with a wheelbarrow. She takes the money and sprints to the baker before noon. Because after noon, the shopkeeper remarks every price. The coffee you could buy for 5,000 marks this morning costs 14,000 marks by noon. The newspaper that cost 50,000 marks at breakfast costs 100,000 by evening. A Berlin journalist named Friedrich Kroner documented it in real time. The banknote, still moist from the printer, paid out as a weekly wage, shrinks in value on the way to the grocer's shop. You had to move faster than the printing press. That was survival in Weimar Germany. Now here's the question several of you asked after the last video. You're stacking coins, you're holding physical gold and silver, and you want to know, when paper money actually dies, how do you spend it? What do you hand someone? What does that transaction look like in practice? The forensic record from Germany, 1921 to 1923, gives a specific answer, and it is not the answer most people in this community expect. Here's what blows people's minds. Most ordinary Germans didn't have gold when the hyperinflation hit. Not because they failed to prepare, because the government had already taken it. 9 years before the crisis, voluntarily, with a campaign so effective it stripped an entire middle class of its only real protection, before they ever knew they'd need it. The gold was gone before the crisis started, not seized at gunpoint, donated. And that changes everything about how we should think about what comes next. Let me show you.
So basically, because of World War I, they got rid of their gold for steel or iron or something. well, there's no need to have it. Everything's fine. Da, 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 da. But you're going to war, and wars are very expensive. So this is my point. We buy the stack the gold and silver now because we know this is going to zero. You guys ask me when. Well, I can't give you a date. There's no such thing. There's no date. I can say in 2026, it's going to be probably close. All these wars are expensive. We'll be broke soon. George Soros wants us broke. And that's the big problem. So it's going to happen, but we don't know when. So we buy the gold and silver now and we hold it. We don't try to profit take it. That's what I'm warning you about. You'll be very rich with the gold and silver just waiting for the collapse when it happens. It will happen, but I can't tell you it's going to happen in March or April or May. That's not, I don't have that information. I don't know when they're planning on crashing it, but it'll just have the market will say we don't want it anymore, which is pretty well. Just like, I tell you stock market's going to crash, but I can't tell you when. And I tell you the dollar is going to crash, but I can't tell you when, but I know it's going to happen. So we know it's going to happen, but we don't know the date. So, Kurt, you're going to make money on your silver, but I can't tell you next week. It should go up because of this month end stuff, but I can't tell you next Wednesday it'll be X or Y. I mean, nobody can tell you that. It's about that. Now, all these people are idiots. They're selling their gold because they don't see danger. So all the people in Germany who got rid of their gold, who needed it in 1923, when the market crashed, could have used their gold, weren't thinking, oh, bring in your gold for iron. And like an idiot, they did. No, I would never. There's no way I'm bringing you in my gold, silver for anything. So don't even, it's in one ear and out the other. There's this noise if you ask for it. Fuck off. I'm not giving it to you. So again, don't be an idiot. Don't do things. We know what to do. So you just hold on to it. Just hold it. And something bad's going to happen. And that if this was 1929, and I'm doing my videos in 1928, I'm probably saying the same thing. The market's going to crash. Buy your gold and silver, get although the dollar didn't collapse. It was really just the stock market. And that was because it was in a bubble. It's sort of like what happened in 2000. I got out of the stock market and all the IT stocks dropped. And I got out of that market. And that was all bullshit. The banks run the prices up. And then the banks say, thank you. And everybody loses all their money. And they say, fuck the customer. All we care about is our bank. And then the government, which the banks own, reimburses them and call it a bailout. So we know the game's fixed between the banks and the government. We know the banks will always, get replenished. Although what's happening now is they won't, because the dollar won't be worth anything. So if the government were to give JP Morgan $5 billion, is not going to help them because it's not worth anything. And that's the key. All right, a little bit more.
Forensic record, because this story has been told 100 times and almost always wrong. The first thing the forensic record shows, what actually happened to the gold? August 4th, 1914, the first day of World War I. The Reichsbank suspends gold convertibility. From that day, the German government runs a campaign with a slogan, Gold für Eisen, gold for iron. Citizens are encouraged to donate gold jewelry, watches, wedding rings. In exchange, they receive iron replacements, stamped with the words, I gave gold for the defense of the fatherland. Millions of ordinary Germans complied. They were patriotic. They trusted their institutions. By 1923, when bread cost 200 billion marks a loaf, and the mark lost 30% of its value while you stood in line, the gold was already gone. Not confiscated at gunpoint during the crisis, donated 9 years earlier, voluntarily, in exchange for iron. The people who still held gold in 1923 were not ordinary Germans. They were the wealthy who had quietly evaded the campaign. Industrialists with international connections. Those with enough foresight to hoard while everyone around them was surrendering. The lesson no one talks about. The government didn't need to confiscate gold during the crisis. It had already solved that problem. before anyone understood there would be a crisis. The gold was gone before the crisis started, not seized at gunpoint, donated. If you're watching this and you have gold in your hands right now, understand what that actually means. You are already in a different position than most Germans were in 1923. The question is what you do with it when the moment comes.
Taxes was chasing updates and getting nowhere.
The question is what you do with it when the moment comes. The second thing the forensic record shows, what people actually used as money. It was not gold coins handed across a shop counter. The documented record is specific on this. The closest thing to a universal survival currency during the Weimar hyperinflation was the US dollar. A British diplomatic dispatch from 1922, filed by Lord Dabenon, the British ambassador in Berlin, reported that he hardly knew a German of either sex who wasn't speculating in foreign currencies. Millions were hoarding foreign banknotes, not gold. Dollars, pounds, Swiss francs. Stefan's.
And that's what's happening now is all these people from other countries have their money in US dollars in the stock market. So that's why the stock market's going to crash. Once the Germans and the Russians and the Japanese, Chinese, the British start realizing the dollar's worthless, they're going to get out of the stock market because it's in US dollars, and they're going to realize that that's not worth anything. That's why the market's going to crash, partly because the companies won't make any money because everybody will be broke. Nobody can afford to buy the products, and then the stock goes down because your earnings drop, and most of the companies will go bankrupt because they can't make revenue. They still have their expense. They have the factory. They have fixed costs that will not go away, but you won't be able to sell anything because nobody has money. And if they do, it's going to food and clothing before it goes to telephones and laptops and stuff like that. So again, this is what is he saying? He's saying they had the money in US dollars and pounds and francs. As long as you're out of Reichsmarks, you're fine. But the problem is they didn't replace the Reichsmark for a year or so. And so therefore you would barter because there was no money. But as soon as they put in the new Deutschmark, then that was the money. And that's what it was. You'd go to the grocery store with that. And that's kind of what solved the problem temporarily until Hitler came in and said, hey, we need gold and silver. Let's go start a war and go to the central banks with our tanks. And we'll steal the gold and silver from all these other countries. What a great idea. Aren't I a smart guy? They went to Russia for the oil, gold, and silver. That's why they went to Russia. Minerals, gas, because Russia's very rich and Germany had no gold, silver, or oil. So Germany had to invade these other countries to get what they needed, the minerals and the oil and stuff like that.
Zweig, the Austrian writer who lived through it, put it directly. Whoever had foreign currency to exchange did so from hour to hour. Ernest Hemingway filed dispatches from Kael, Germany, for the Toronto Star in September 1922. He crossed the Rhine from France with 10 francs, 90 cents in Canadian money. He and his wife spent the day heavily. At the end of it, they had 120 marks left over. The bakery he visited was constantly swamped with Frenchmen crossing from France to exploit the exchange rate. That was one side. Now the other. Hemingway also documented what happened to Germans without foreign currency. He bought 5 apples and paid with a 50-mark note. The woman gave back 38 marks in change, 12 marks for 5 apples, less than 2 cents in real money. A white-haired German gentleman standing nearby tipped his hat and asked how much the apples cost. Hemingway told him. The man shook his head. I can't pay it. It is too much. That man was not poor by German standards. He had savings. He had trusted his institutions his whole life. And 12 marks, 2 cents, was beyond what he could afford. That is what a hyperinflation does to savings. Not a sudden crash. A slow, daily grinding until 12 marks is the difference between eating and not eating.
Okay, so this is again what I'm saying of getting your money out of the banks, getting your money out of the stock market, getting your money out of paper. The Titanic sinks, and that's what they just said. Your savings dwindles, the money won't buy you anything. That's what happens when this is worthless. That's what happened in Zimbabwe recently, in Venezuela, in Argentina, in Pakistan. It's you print your money to death. It loses all value. And if you're in the dollar, then you lose everything. That's why you get out of the dollar and into gold and silver, which is what I'm trying to explain to Cart. The thought of buying the silver is smart, but to sell it to make $5 and give it back to your dad is stupid. That money has to be, look, I'm going to borrow money, but I'm not going to pay it back next week. I don't want to borrow it for a week. I want to borrow it for a year or two. And, it's not like it's a lot of money because, I don't know how many he bought, but he bought ounces of silver at, let's say 90.91, and now it's 87. So he's down $4 an ounce, which is not that much. But again, it's the savings goes away. Anything in this will go away. Stocks, bonds, real estate trust, your property, everything that stays in the dollar goes to zero. That's that's what we're doing. But if we're smart enough to buy gold and silver, we're fine. Nothing happens to us. Now, they could have bought in Germany marks, pounds, or US dollars. That was okay, but you can't go there now. You can't go to pounds, euros, or Chinese or Russian or Japanese money because it's all worthless. Now, unless China has it backed by gold, then you're actually buying gold. That's another story. But I'm not sure about that. I know they have gold backed currency, but I don't know if it's been revalued or anything like that. So that's where I would go. But you're better off just getting into gold and silver and not into the money. But maybe, those who are worried about paying this capital gains tax, so maybe you just buy money with it, and then it's not a collectible. You bought Chinese yuan backed by gold, the unit. You bought the unit, and you bought $100,000 of the unit. Now it's up to 300,000. Is it a capital gains? No, you just bought money. You didn't buy a collectible, right? You just bought money. So that's what you're avoiding is everything in that currency gets killed. The French, the Spanish, the English, the Romans, Germans, Zimbabweans, the Venezuela, it always goes to zero because they keep printing it. And then nobody wants it because there's too much of it. I want this, and I want gold instead. And that's what happens. There's no hope. The US dollar is gone.
Pre-war German gold coins existed. The 20-mark gold piece, 7.16 grams of pure gold. These coins held their value absolutely. One gold mark in 1914 bought the same basket of goods as one gold mark in 1924 after stabilization. They were the right asset. But here's what the forensic record actually shows about how they were used. They were hoarded, not spent. Gresham's law in its purest form. Bad money drives out good. When paper marks circulated alongside gold, nobody spent gold. They spent the paper and kept the coin.
Spectrum is helping build America with 100%.
Nobody spent gold.
There's actually a law for that. Like nobody knows that.
By the final stages of the crisis, shops began refusing paper marks entirely and demanding gold or foreign currency. But by then, most ordinary Germans had neither. This is the gap between what the gold community discusses and what the documented record shows. Holding gold.
This is what Bobby tells his daughter, right? The shops will take gold or silver as my point. So when I need to go to Kroger's and my dollar is gone, I have a silver. I can go buy food with this. That's the point. That's what they did in Germany. They couldn't use that, so that's what they do with it. So just keep that in mind. That is the point of it. They will, like everybody, oh, they don't take, what's the point of gold and silver? And yeah, that's what will happen, right? That's exactly the point of this video, is to show you if you have gold and silver, you'll be fine because you're out of the dollar, because the dollar's going to collapse and everything in dollars collapses. So the stock market and all your dollars collapses, but they will take silver and gold.
Is the right instinct. But understanding how gold actually functions in a live hyperinflation is a different question entirely. The third thing the forensic record shows: what the transactions actually looked like. Anna Eisenmenger was a Viennese widow. She kept a diary of her survival. On New Year's Day 1919, she used her late husband's gold watch chain to barter for 4 bags of potatoes. Not to buy, to barter. Gold chain to potatoes. Direct exchange. No change given. No price posted. 2 people who agreed on value. She also wrote this: panic bids defiance to all legal decrees. Even the most respectable of Austrian citizens now breaks the law unless he is prepared to starve for the sake of obeying it. Stefan Zweig documented what happened when gold and dollars were unavailable. People used wedding rings, family silverware, paintings, fine china, books. He described rural farmhouses filling up with pianos, leather-bound books, and crystal, accumulated from city families who brought them to the countryside.
So they're bringing assets, which is my other thing I tell you to buy. So theoretically, you could take your Mantle card and you'd eat for a year. Your paintings, as he said, pianos, but what do they have in common? They're assets. Your Joe Montana rookie card. So you're not starving with those. So that's the point. You're getting real assets, the cards, the coins, the gold, the silver, anything that's real, and that's what you're using to survive with until there's a new money. And their government was as idiotic as our government, apparently.
And traded them for potatoes and milk. The farmers were happy to take them. The mark they refused. A wedding ring for a bag of potatoes. That is the actual transaction at the street level of a hyperinflation. By late 1923, over 4,000 separate entities were printing their own emergency money, not geld, necessity money, on paper, ceramic, leather, silk, wood, and compressed coal dust. The Krupp Steelworks in Essen printed Krupp marks for their workers. It became the only stable currency in the city. And here is the detail that most people never hear. The most significant not geld was denominated not in marks at all, but in stable real-world units. Rye, wheat, coal, kilowatt hours of electricity, cubic meters of water. A rye-denominated bond issued in Oldenburg in 1922 paid 125 kilograms of rye and was redeemable 4 years later at 150 kilograms, a 4.5% yield, in rye, not in marks, in rye. When the official unit of account collapses, the economy does not stop. It reprices everything in whatever unit holds stable value. In 1923 Germany, that was the dollar, the rye bushel, the kilowatt hour, and the gold coin, in roughly that order of daily usefulness. If you're realizing that the story you've been told about gold in Weimar Germany is missing most of its most important chapters, hit the subscribe button. This channel runs the forensic record, not the legend, and there is a lot more in this record that changes the calculation about what you should be doing right now. The fourth thing the forensic record shows: who survived and who didn't. The people most destroyed by the Weimar hyperinflation were not the poor. The poor had little to lose. The people most destroyed were the educated middle class. Doctors, lawyers, professors, civil servants. The Bildungsbürgertum, as Germans called them. They had bought war bonds out of patriotism. They had savings accounts. They had life insurance policies with guaranteed nominal payouts. They had done everything right by every rule they had ever been taught. Maximilian Bern was an elderly Berlin man.
Well, what did they do wrong? They left their money in the bonds, in the life insurance, in the banks, and the dollar collapsed. This is again proof that I keep trying to tell you. Get your money out of the dollars, get it out of the stock market, get it out of the banks, get it out of the real estate trust, and get it into gold and silver. So that's your plan, because you can see what happened. People were stupid. People with money kept it in the bank, kept it in their bonds, and they didn't move it into gold and silver. They obviously didn't have my Austrian economic class in 1923 in Germany. If they did, they would have all been in gold and silver. A few of the bankers probably moved it into gold and silver. And then people from France would come and use the French francs to buy a lot of stuff very cheap. So as the value of was printed, the value of the Reichsmark went to zero, and you couldn't use it for anything. Nobody wanted it. So again, we'll be going to Kroger's with silver, and they will take it. This is the point I keep hammering home. This is the point you don't believe. This is the point I'm telling you. Get your money out of the bank. Get your money out of dollars. Put it into gold and silver. You've got nothing to lose. Even if it, okay, nothing happens. I was 100. You still have the gold and silver, and they're going up in value. So gold's 5,000, 5,200 an ounce now. Silver's right around 90, going back to 120. So that's all I can tell Cart is it will be back to 120. But you can't try to do it in a week. So just buy it and hold it. All right, that's enough of this. But this is the mistake: is you put your money into gold. You get it out of the banks, you get it out of the bonds, you get it out of the stocks, put it into gold, and you can't lose. It's a lock, it's the lifeboat. It is preservation, but it also, the gold will go up in value. And the reason gold will go up in value where it didn't in Germany is because the whole world's buying gold, the BRICS countries and everybody else pushing the price up, where back then it was just Germany that collapsed. So I think what happened is, I showed you yesterday, the US, lent them money, and that lasted until 1932. And Hitler said, hey, you know what? I want gold. And that was the difference. But it was much different with that. So that's what you're trying, but you don't know when it'll happen. Like this was 1921, it was like this. So you could have started doing it in 21, and it finally happened in 23. It's not like it just all of a sudden happened in 23 and everybody's caught by surprise. Oh, I didn't know that. You probably knew it in 21. You knew it as soon as they had to pay for World War One. That's what caused it. So they had to pay for World War One. So they printed money to pay all the war debts. Well, as soon as you do that, there goes your money, because it's not backed by gold and silver. And that's what happened with Biden. He starts giving this COVID $7 trillion spending bill to give everybody money. Well, that was the same thing. As soon as I heard that, and he's printing $7 trillion, I go, the money's worthless. He's fucked the money up. It's worth it because it's not backed by anything. So as soon as you do that, that's when I started buying. That's like 2020, 2020, 2021. And I hear that, I react, I got to get out of the dollar. I got to get into gold and silver. Now it's taken 4 years, but look at what gold went from 1,700 to 5,200. And it would be a lot higher if they didn't keep doing these stupid options in COMEX. These idiots shorting it. I mean, all they have to do is buy it and just sit there and watch the price skyrocket. No, I'm going to short it because it's gone up too much. That's what happened to silver today or yesterday. It was 90, it was up to 91. And I go, okay, here we go back to 100. And then, boom. Oh, we got to short it down to 87 because it went up. We could make money, but they're still in dollars. They don't get it. Even if they do make money, even if Luke makes $1 million on his silver stocks, it's still in money. And unless he puts it into gold physical, it's worthless. So this was a fundamental thing of what happened. All right. All right, so here's AI fails.
Actually pay money directly for.
In the absence of
So we don't really know what AI is. It's artificial intelligence. What does that mean? I have no idea. I think it's just taking data that I can get in Excel and doing it with AI, and nobody even knows, is it good or bad? Is it smart or not? It's just something. It's like Bitcoin. What is it? It's digital money. What does that mean? Nothing. But it sounds fancy and it's digital. So people got into it without knowing what it is. And it's the same thing with AI. So I'll play about 5-6 minutes of this, and that should help you.
AI and robotics, we're actually totally screwed.
We are working to build tools that one day can help us make new discoveries and address some of humanity's biggest challenges, like climate change and curing cancer.
Hi, welcome to another episode of
How is
Cold
AI going to cure
Here's
cancer?
a question. How can AI be disrupting the job market, but also be losing billions of dollars at the same time? Well, this video will answer that. The truth is, while AI helps make some jobs easier, when compared to a human, it performs worse a whopping 96.25% of the time, which basically means given AI 10 tasks, and it will perform at least 9 of them worse than when compared to a human. That's at least according to a new study. It's such an interesting finding and begs the question, why has no one systematically compared how well AI does versus a human who's done exactly the same job? All previous benchmarks have been simulated human work, not real generalized work. The results from the team of researchers who did the study makes one think, maybe the true value of consumer AI isn't hundreds of billions of dollars, but orders of magnitudes less. I'm not saying that all AI sucks. This study is just a general reminder that AI is a time-saving tool and not a replacement. Just maybe, the economy is valuing it too highly when it comes to near-term capabilities. In this episode, we'll take a look at the study in detail and discuss what it all means.
You are watching Cold Fusion TV.
So the synopsis of the study was straightforward enough. Give paid jobs already completed by real people to AI models, and then see how well the results compare. Once the AI completes the tasks, humans evaluate the results. The researchers called this method the Remote Labor Index, or RLI. It's so simple. Most of us use a computer to do modern work, right? So why not just directly compare how well AIs compete on a professional computer-based job? The jobs to be completed were real ones from the freelancer site Upwork, a site where you pay remote workers to complete any given task. The jobs were varied from video creation, computer-aided design, graphic design, game development, audio work, architecture, and more. Both humans and AI were given the same brief and any attached files that were necessary for the job. For example, an Excel spreadsheet of data or instructional images. The AI models were tested on 240 jobs, each paying $630 on average. So, how did they perform? The performance was abysmal. The best AI was Claude Opus 4.5, with a 3.75% success rate when it came to producing work of an acceptable quality. You heard that right. A 96.25% failure rate was the best performer. Interestingly, Gemini was the loser, with a 1.25% success rate. Now, Claude Opus 4.6 might score 5% better, but that's still a 91% failure rate. When these scores get to 35% or 40%, then we can talk. So a couple of things to note. The original paper used AI models that were 6 months or so old, but their website has up-to-date results, which are the scores that I'm referring to in this episode. I'll leave a link for the website below. So where exactly did the AI systems fail? Well, first we need to define exactly what failure means. Failure counts as not performing a task at or better than a human level. This is specifically in the context of a freelancing environment, an environment where people actually pay money directly for the work. With that in mind, the paper lists 4 main failure points for AI systems. Number 1, sometimes the AI would produce, quote, corrupt or empty files, or deliver work in incorrect or unusable formats. Number 2, AI, quote, frequently submitted incomplete work, characterized by missing components, truncated videos, or absent source assets. For example, a video of 8 seconds when an 8-minute video was required. Number 3, another one was quality issues. Quote, even when agents produce a complete deliverable, the quality of work is frequently poor and does not meet professional standards. End quote. And finally, number 4,
Inconsistencies with AI-generated work. This includes a house's appearance changing across different 3D views, or digital floor plans that don't match the supplied sketches. It's all very interesting. So for years now, we've been told that AI is going to replace humans everywhere, but the truth is, we are nowhere near that point, at least not yet anyway.
YouTube Premium is ad-free YouTube and ad-free videos on the YouTube.
Replace humans everywhere, but the truth is, we are nowhere near that point, at least not yet anyway. So then, where did the AI succeed? Success would mean that the AI does the same work at the same quality or better quality than human output. They note that AI was proficient in creative ideas, like audio and image-related work, along with writing, data retrieval, or web scraping. And that kind of checks out. The success of OpenClaw attests to the latter two. And AI images and audio are already good enough to fool a lot of people. Advertisement and logo creation was another successful area. It's also no surprise that AI was good at report writing and generating simple code for an interactive data visualization. Competent video generation is coming very shortly. Just take a look at Seedance 2.0.
Okay, I can't watch this.
That's just
All right, so we can see to try to replace the worker, so I don't have to pay the worker, but I have to buy the AI and buy a programmer to make sure AI is functioning well. And if changes made, like I got to change from 2025 to 2026, all the new general ledgers and new finance things, it's not going to be any cheaper, but it's going to be a lot worse because you can't talk to AI. Like you can come up to me and say, hey, I need this and that. And I might ask a question, do you want to include this or that? Versus AI, how are you going to communicate with AI? It's not going to happen. You can see 96% of the time it sucks. So what is the big deal about AI? Well, all they see is it replaces workers. It's time savings. It's, I'll save money with it, but the quality will be worse.
And logo creation was another successful area. It's also no surprise that AI was good at report writing and generating simple code for an interactive data visualization. Competent video generation is coming very shortly. Just take a look at Seedance 2.0.
Okay, no, I thought it was something else. I thought it was food. All right.
It's all the warning signs.
It is a bit scary to know that the most valuable private company in the world has your address and has shown up and has questions for you they were asking for. Every former employee that we had spoken to and what we said to them, every congressional office that we spoke to, every potential investor that we spoke to.
Tyler is just one of many advocates suddenly being targeted.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Cold Fusion. What you just saw there was basically OpenAI knocking on the doors of people who had spoken ill of them. Why are they so scared of what people are saying? Well, this is part of the reason why. On Friday, the 16th of January 2026, OpenAI dropped a bombshell. We are starting to test ads in ChatGPT Free and Go, new $8 a month option tiers. That's right, OpenAI is incorporating ads into ChatGPT. Now, for any other startup, this is normal, even expected at this point. But for OpenAI, it's an admission that things aren't going so well. In fact, it's their last resort. Those aren't my words, but Sam Altman's words in October of 2024. He stated,
I kind of think of ads as like a last resort for us for a business model. I would do it if it meant that was the only way to get everybody in the world like access to great services. But if we can find something that doesn't do that, I'd prefer that.
So after hundreds of billions of dollars in investment, increased competition, stupid side projects like the Sora app losing $15 million per day, having trillions in spending commitments, are we witnessing the beginning of the end for OpenAI? After taking 40% of all the RAM on Earth and causing a myriad of social, environmental, and economic problems for everyone, there's a sizable section of people that would love to see this company go down in flames. And if things continue just the way they are, they just may get their wish. There's talk of the whole company going bankrupt by 2027. As former Fidelity asset manager George Noble states, quote, "I've watched companies implode for decades. This one has all the warning signs."
You are watching Cold Fusion TV.
So this is like Tesla. You make an electric car nobody wants. You're making AI and nobody wants it. And you're trying to say, do you want it? Where are you getting AI that somebody wants? Oh, look, it'll say you can lay off all your work staff and have AI come in. Well, wait, it does. The people are 96% better than the AI. What did I hear? A guy in Vegas to get rid of the dealers for AI. How's that working? I don't want to sit with AI because I know it's a computer. I'm probably going to get fucked. And I like, playing with a dealer that you can talk to. So it's not wanted. There's no demand. Again, we get into Say's law. Supply creates demand. I want a blue shirt. I want a gold chain. I want glasses. I want Pop-Tarts and Oreo cookies and broccoli and cauliflower. That's what I want. But I don't want is AI and electric cars. So I am not demanding that. So why are you making it? See, if you just stick with Say's law and let us make the money, demand the product that you want, you make the product. I want a TV. I want a cell phone. I want a laptop, and you make it. I want Canadian Club, and you make it. But when you make something that nobody wants, AI, electric vehicles, you spend a hell of a lot of money making something that there's no demand for. Are companies really going to go AI? I don't think so. As soon as they start getting bad reports, what do? They get rid of the AI and they bring in people like me to say, okay, I need this report done. That's what you got to do. That's the difference. And AI is not good. So be careful with these AI. It just showed you all the money that is going into it, and they're losing and they're going bankrupt. And you got NVIDIA and you got these AI stocks because they're going through the roof because they're the newest, they're the newest thing. So I'm going to buy and get in on the bottom, and then they're all going to go to $1 million. Everything goes to $1 million. Problem is the $1 million isn't worth anything because it's in dollars. But that's the other problem. So nobody wants AI. Nobody's asking for it. It's not like, hey, if we only had AI. Again, I'm in finance. I can go into Excel and have the database that is in there, that is the general ledger from SAP, and pull the general ledger into Excel and take all the data I need. I don't need AI to do that for me. In fact, I will do a much better job of it. As they said, 96% will do a better job. So this is what they're doing. This is a malinvestment. Nobody wants it. There's no demand for this, but they're coming out, and then they're trying to create demand for it. Your workers.
Last episode, we saw how AI failed at 96% of freelancer work. But in this episode, we're specifically looking at OpenAI and the problems they're facing. From Anthropic models, the consumer AI is no longer the clear leader it once was.
Look, the way this is, we're going to tell you it's totally hopeless to compete with us on training foundation models you shouldn't try, and it's your job to try anyway. And I believe both of those things. I think it is pretty hopeless, but
they've spent too much money they don't have. The competition is catching up, and they're feeling the heat. In a nutshell, it doesn't look good. They've lost $12 billion in a single quarter. Their traffic has been falling for 1 year straight. Both Salesforce and Apple have ditched them for Gemini. Top leadership is leaving, and they need $143 billion to become profitable. At this rate, even NVIDIA sounds less enthusiastic about investing in them.
Can I ask quickly about OpenAI again?
Sure.
So yesterday you said that NVIDIA is not going to invest as much as $100 billion in OpenAI.
No,
that's the current run.
We never said we were going to invest $100 billion in one round. That never was said.
But how about the overall commitment? Because last September OpenAI
there was never a commitment. It was if they invited us to. So let's start over again. They invited us to invest up to $100 million. And of course, we were very happy and honored that they invited us. But we will invest one step at a time.
All right, but is that overall commitment still stands, or it's not the commitment?
I told you just now. Yeah, you keep putting words in my mouth.
Okay.
It's not.
Sorry about
Yeah. I know that. Yeah. Us to invest up to $100 billion, and we are. They invited us. We will consider each round one at a time. Yeah.
It appears that confidence in OpenAI is fading. As reported by the Financial Times, their closest partner, Microsoft, has signaled that they're distancing themselves from OpenAI. Microsoft's AI chief, Mustafa Solomon, said that Microsoft is aiming to be self-sufficient in the AI space. So, the problems for OpenAI can be split into four main parts. 1. The scaling problem. 2. Losing market share. 3. The financial black hole. And 4. The trust problem. If OpenAI was the only company on Earth with this technology, then maybe...
So you probably don't want to invest in OpenAI. You want to buy stock in it. And if you knew what you were doing, you would short it because they're obviously not making money. And a stock that doesn't make money goes to zero because you're investing in the stock because they do make money, which is why the market will crash because nobody's going to make money because the economy is gone and it's in dollars, everybody's screwed. So this is what you can see. So again, they're still in these other AI stocks, but why is this company losing? Because they're having problems that all the companies will have. So heavily against AI stocks. Somebody made a fortune and now they're all dumping. Probably JP Morgan, of course.
Be more of a chance to overcome these challenges. But with so much competition, it's going to be tough. Now, researching this topic made me realize one thing. Understanding software is crucial, which is why we've partnered with today's sponsor, Boot.dev, to help you learn how to code. It sounds great in theory, but most people just watch a few tutorials, copy some code, and then give up. But with Boot.dev, instead of passively watching videos, you learn by building things and solving problems from day one, just like how developers learn on the job. We've been using Boot.dev at Cold Fusion, and it feels more like a game than a course. You earn XP, complete quests, and fight bosses, all while learning real back-end development skills. Their curriculum takes you through languages like Python.
Okay, we really don't want to watch a commercial.
To AI sex bots and a meme slot factory, and more recently, a translator app. All of this isn't a sign of a healthy business. Moreover, AI capabilities that are getting exponentially more powerful. ChatGPT made an absolute splash in its release in December 2022. ChatGPT 4 was another leap forward, but GPT-5 and beyond wasn't quite the revolution that was promised by Sam Altman. It seemed like stagnation had hit, and hit hard. But why is this? It's an issue called the scaling problem. The scaling problem in AI, put simply, is the following. Giving LLMs exponentially more compute doesn't make them proportionally smarter. Once upon a time...
I don't know what they're talking about. Anyway, there was one I was looking at, but I don't know what that is. All right, here, replacing humans with AI.
In other words, AI... Hi, welcome to another episode of Cold Fusion. Since 2023, the fast food chain Taco Bell introduced artificial intelligence at over 500 locations in the United States. The aim was to reduce mistakes and speed up orders. But in some cases, AI delivered just the opposite. Like this frustrated customer.
And what were you doing with that? I want a large Mountain Dew. And a drink?
McDonald's drive-thrus also tried AI, but decided to scrap it because it was too unreliable. One person had bacon added to their ice cream in error, and another had hundreds of dollars worth of chicken nuggets mistakenly added to their order. As for Taco Bell, the fiasco has caused them to rethink their use of AI. Their chief technology officer, Dane Matthews, told the Wall Street Journal in regards to deploying the voice AI system, quote, Sometimes it lets me down, but sometimes it really surprises me, end quote. And what he said is the very crux of consumer generative AI today. It works most of the time, but about a few % of the time, it just gets things wrong. But where does this all lead? A recent MIT report found that after surveying 150 business leaders and 350 employees, just 5% of integrated AI pilots are extracting millions in value, while the vast majority remain stuck with no measurable profit and loss impact. In other words, AI implementation fails in 95% of the cases. The market was spooked by these findings, and shares in Nvidia, the $4 trillion company whose chips power the AI boom, dropped by 3.5%, while Palantir fell by 9% off the back of the news. It all sounds pretty heavy, but this was just a reaction to the headline, because as you dig deeper into what was actually said in the report, the picture isn't as clear-cut as AI simply failing everywhere. A few episodes ago, I talked about the current crisis with new graduate jobs. A large part of that was the AI threat. It's true and happening in some entry-level jobs, especially in the creative fields. I did caveat in that episode that current AI systems still get a lot wrong, but will improve in the future. But today, let's explore that fact a bit more deeply. What if generative consumer AI continues to underperform in businesses for years to come? In this episode, we'll look at how AI is actually performing once put into the position of taking people's jobs. To summarize the end of this episode, it's basically this. Consumer generative AI will revolutionize global productivity eventually, but as for now, it's possibly in a bubble.
You are watching Cold Fusion TV.
So first thing, let's lay it out straight. AI has some legitimate use cases and works well in non-critical areas that don't require 100% precision. Robots, live translation, and even some prototype website builders like Lovable are some examples. But the sentiment is clear. Most people online find it annoying. But that aside, there's a fundamental problem with current generative AI. Let me explain. You see, everything we call artificial intelligence today was built on the findings of a 2017 paper from Google. That paper provided a way for AI to focus on different parts of an input sequence simultaneously and determine the relevance of each word to every other word. This innovation, called a transformer neural network, allowed researchers, computer scientists, and later companies to change the world. But herein lies the fundamental problem. With this method of transformer neural networks, it turns out by determining the relevance of each word and predicting the next word, it just makes up stuff. Essentially, it doesn't know what it's saying. We call this problem hallucinations, and it has real-world consequences. Picture this. You're a business that decided to replace its staff with AI to write up patient documents, fill in patient information, summarize meetings, or do some basic scheduling. But as time goes on, to your horror, you realize that the AI system makes up 10% of everything that it delivers. But the real problem is, you don't know what it's made up and you don't know what's accurate. So you or your staff manually have to go back and check everything. This ends up just being extra work for the remaining staff, and ultimately is a waste of time. It sounds stupid, but this is exactly what's happening. Now, the following are Reddit comments taken from those in the workforce who had to take the brunt of upper management thinking that blindly implementing AI was a good idea. Quote, "My company paid for some AI scheduling software a few months ago, thinking that it could free up the accounts team so that they could continue their hiring freeze in that department. Now the accounts team is having to do extra work making sure the program isn't messing everything up. Not to mention our production team that never had to worry about schedules is double/triple checking everything. They're finally scrapping it for some basic scheduling software." And same experience here. Products sold and demonstrated to be a lifesaver. Ultimately, the staff that used to do the work spend all their time making sure the AI doesn't screw up and help train it. Also, working in a medical/clinical setting, we really don't trust the new file sorting and labeling system. Names, date of birth, insurance data has to be perfect. AI is less than that. It fails at gathering proper demographic information and assigning relevant tasks. Sometimes it thinks the doctor is the patient, or doesn't know where the document was faxed from, etc. And yet another user states that AI was good at taking notes from Zoom meetings, but would make up 5 to 20% of the content, even when hand-fed the transcripts of the meeting.
So as we can see, AI is a scam. It's stupid. It's unreliable. you're not. Look, I handicap football better than anybody, and if I had to compete with AI, I'd win 1,000% of the time because of what I'm doing, and I'm accurate, and I keep accurate notes versus what they're doing. That you don't even know if they're accurate. That's why when I do these AI things, and I see that Mr. Fuji, the AI guy, the Asian guy, yeah, I don't know. You can't believe a word he says. And that's the problem. So why do I want to listen to a guy that I can't trust is telling me the truth? So that's why I tend to go to people like me and Mark McGuire and Egon, who I know are not AI. And I can't trust any of the AI stuff that it's even accurate. So that's the problem. Now here it's the same thing. They're telling you how bad AI is. So what was the point? Well, we can save money by laying off people or freezing people. So I can get rid of my workforce who I know and trust for a computer who I don't know and can't trust. Oh, but they won't take vacation time or sick time. Yeah, but everything they do is wrong. So we're in Vegas now. You really want to trust AI dealing your blackjack or craps or poker or whatever the hell they're going to do? I mean, you go play craps, you hit a button and it spins the dice and rolls it. You want to trust that? Or blackjack, the video blackjack? Oh yeah, I'm sure that's not programmed for me to lose. At least with the dealer, even if she's really good and can fuck around with the cards, I bet for her. Here's 5 for you. I'm betting 10, 5 for you. She's not going to lose. She wants her tip. You can't do that with AI. I don't know the big thing of getting rid of the people because, as I said, they're the ones going to buy your stuff. So if you're at Caesar's Palace and you get rid of all the people, guess what? They're not going to eat there, they're not going to drink there, and they're not going to shop there. Oh, but I got it. Look at all the money I'm saving with AI, but they're fucking up everything. And like that one at McDonald's where the guy got $100 worth of chicken nuggets and the other guy trying to order a Mountain Dew, and they said, well, what do you want to drink? What are you going to do? There's nobody there. It's just AI. It's a nightmare. You cannot get rid of the people, and to try to save money doing it just shows you how stupid these CEOs are. I can bring in computers and get rid of the money. Did you not watch Terminator 2? Nothing good can come out of replacing humans. You might have bad humans, then you need to fire them and bring in better humans, but that's about it. You can't sit there and try to replace people with computers. It'll never work. And that's what AI is trying to do. And it's just ridiculous. And, it's just like I'll send in my resume for jobs and I'll say, do you want AI to look at it? I said, absolutely not. I want a real person to look at it and see what I can do, not AI, because AI is going to be way out of it. So I think that's it. There's this thing called the metaverse. I won't play it. This was a Zuckerberg thing. And again, he's doing it and there's only 900 users. And it goes into this cartoon land. It's really stupid. This is the problem I'm seeing with AI people, with IT people, I should say. They come up with an idea and they go, oh, this would make sense, without trying it, without understanding is there demand for it, but just coming up with something that they do. Oh, well, I'll make a metaverse and I'm going to waste all this money building it. There's no demand for it. If there's say you need an economist, because the economist says, is there demand for something? We want to create, I want to handicap basketball. Is there a demand for it? Maybe. How about if I handicap soccer? Is there a demand for it? No, not in the U.S. So you're going through, well, what can I do? But I got to know there's demand for it. It's Say's law. If nobody wants it, you can't just make it. Oh, I'll make an electric car. Nobody wants it. Nobody's asking for it. Nobody's saying, hey, it'd be great to have an electric car. I'll buy one. Then you make it, and then it's 10 times more expensive. They're like $100,000. I'll buy my $25,000 Camry. Thank you very much. And I don't want this in the cars. They're supposed to put in like turn off the engine mechanisms. Fuck that. I'm driving on the highway. I don't need my car, the engine turned off by the government or GM or whoever, disabling my car. What, are you kidding me? I mean, that's just terrible. No. I control my car. Thank you. And I don't want driverless cars, and I don't want a Johnny cab like in Total Recall, where the cab just drives you. No. I'll drive things. Or I want a real driver. I don't want a computer driver. He'll take me to the wrong place, or I'll get killed in an accident. Let's see, John Z. ChatGPT is bad too now. Doctors are learning that in school, better off taking care of your health, not depend on anyone. TK, great advice, bud. Thank you. AI is very bad for you. Yeah, well, that's an electric car. I mean, if it gets too hot out, it won't work. If it gets too cold out, it won't work. How much is it going to cost me to charge? Once the batteries, as we know, the batteries run out. As the batteries run out, quicker and quicker, I'm charging my car every day. How much is that going to cost? I know the expense for charging is going to go up because electricity is being used. There's more demand, so they raise the price and everything but gold and silver. So, I mean, that's the thing. You can't, computers are okay. They have their use. Letting me teach on YouTube, letting me do Excel, which is a spreadsheet, let's see. Seattle was a road favorite. They won the Super Bowl. If I bet against them, I lost. In New England, as a road dog, I lost. And if I bet against them, I won. Okay. And I'm keeping track of that. That's good. I set up my Excel. I don't want AI to do it. Alex asked me, he says, well, I'll pay for the picks with AI. I told him, not a chance. No chance. I don't have any use for it. I won't trust it, and I don't have a use for it. Thank you very much. You have an electric chair? No, I don't. Electric car? No, I don't. I'll never get one. I went into Toyota when I get my oil changed. They said, we got to get you into an electric car. And I say, well, hybrid. No, thanks. I want a gas car. Plenty of gas. It's cheap. It's very quick. I drive up. There's enough pumps. I fill up my car, $30, and off I go. Why do I need to mess around with electric? I don't trust it. I don't want it. And it's too expensive. Oh, my battery runs out. It's going to cost me what, $5,000, $10,000 to replace the big fucking battery in an electric car? Because isn't there multiple batteries in it? Again, it's really cold out. My car the door won't open. The car won't start. It's too cold. We just had from December 1st to like recently, it's been 10, 20 below out half the time. And then the other time it's been like 10, 20 degrees out. Is my car going to start? What if I live in Arizona or Vegas? It's 120. Is my car going to start? Oh, my car stopped. I can't get out of the car because it's an electric door, which I can't open, and I can't roll down the window. So I'm fucked. There's no little handle to open the door. So I'm going to die in my car because it's 120 degrees out, and my car, the electricity won't work. There's too many. It's too new. There's too many bugs, and there's no concept for it. There's no demand for an electric car. I think they sell them in China because it's probably cost prohibited. It's probably a lot cheaper in China to drive the car, and it's a different culture and climate in China than here. Here, if I drive from here to Chicago, it's a 5-hour drive. I got to find spots to recharge the car and everything. Well, in China, like in Europe, like in Germany, everything's like a half hour. It's a half-hour drive from here to there to here to there. So, yeah, you can charge when you get it. But if I got to drive 4.5, 5 hours to Chicago from Detroit, I'm pissing in my pants. Am I going to be able to make it? Or if I go up north to the lake like I did, that was a 4-hour drive. Well, half of it you're going through woods and up north. There's nothing there. Where am I going to charge it? And even if I get to a gas station, is there a charger there? Oh, sorry, but we don't have chargers. Just gas, because they don't want to do the charger. So there's plenty of gas, and electricity there's not plenty of. So we're running into a problem with electricity, the cost going up and the availability going down. I know it's stupid, TK. These cars are awful. I heard it's terrible. Old one better, new one now. The cars are harder to fix too. Well, a lot of it went to the chips, again, the computer. So if I have a problem in my car, they basically have to replace my electronics, my computer chip or whatever I have in there. And so the mechanic is obsolete because it's just replaced the chip as opposed to something else. So yeah, they're going too much computer. So we learned computer, and now we're doing things in the computer world that is not good. It's not asked for. It's expensive. They come up with stupid ideas. Oh, AI. Well, you can replace all your employees with AI, which is just bullshit. That's why I showed you 95% of the time the human beat the computer. So you're going to really trust the computer. And you're going to have a computer, what? You're going to have a robot at Caesar's Palace taking drink orders. I didn't order that. I didn't, I'm not paying for that. Or I'm trying to order a Mountain Dew and they can't do it. So you have a lot of issues with using computers versus people. And it's not a good idea. I would never, like I said, I predict football and baseball, as you know, and I would never use AI to predict it. I know that was Prophet's issue. He's using AI to predict the score, and it was like New England 24-20, and they got killed. So at what, I used AI for that. Well, why? You don't even know that AI is giving you realistic, meaningful data that you can't trust. As he just showed you, they're giving you the wrong data that people have to check the AI to see what data they're using. And they just showed you these examples of it's taking one word and putting in and then guessing. It's guessing the word. It's not even like using it. So it's a stupid thing. It's not worth it. And all these people putting their money in AI stocks, bye-bye. And that frosts me. Like, why would you put your money in the AI stock when you can put your money in gold and silver? Well, gold and silver just sits there. Oh, really? Well, AI stocks, they're all going to go to the million. I'm going to make this shit with it. People in Germany had stocks too, and they all tumbled. So just making this is worthless. And this is the biggest struggle I have. This and this are absolutely they're printed where they've lost all value, right? I like the way I use that inflation definition. The more that's printed makes the value of the dollar go down. Okay. And they're printing and printing and printing, making the dollar go down and down and down. So why do you go into stocks? I just played you Germany. Their stock market crashed. The banks crashed. The people lost all their money who kept it in the bank and kept it in the market. 1929, the stock market crashed. Oh, well, that can't happen. Yeah, not till 1987 and 2000 and 2008. Yeah, the market can't crash. Yeah, you're right. But if you had your money in gold all the time, you'd never lose any money. Granted, they didn't let you keep gold after 1933, but I'm sure you did. But it would be hard to use it because you weren't supposed to hold it. But now you can hold it. So now it's much more attractive and appealing. But that's what you're looking at. So yeah, people, again, they're all idiots, right? They don't understand what AI is. That's why I played you the first one to explain what the fuck is AI. I don't know what OpenAI. Apparently, it's a company. I didn't even know that. And again, I showed you the Meta universe. Again, a Mel investment. Nobody wanted it. It's been out for 5 years, 900 users. This device is really stupid. Again, another here. We'll play this.
Lines around the world after a New York subway ad campaign drew scorn and protest graffiti. Its creator, 22-year-old Avi Schiffman, a Harvard dropout, has a story marred in controversy, but is also a rare glimpse into how the youngest tech CEOs around today operate. Avi believes that this device will help people feel less lonely. And we've heard this before. It's like another one of those AI companion apps, and the growth of this sector shows that demand must be out there. So instead of laughing or judging, perhaps we should ask ourselves how society has even gotten to this state. But as for this new device, the Friend AI Pendant, it's not trying to make you more productive or efficient. It's trying to make you feel understood. But of course, the reality was quite different. One reviewer stated that the AI Friend was like wearing, quote, your senile, anxious grandmother around your neck. So what exactly is this thing? Who's its creator, Avi? What does it signal about society? And how did this device, meant to bring comfort, end up as one of the strangest tech flops of the year? Let's take a look.
You are watching Cold Fusion TV.
The Friend device is a puck-shaped white disc, about the size of an AirTag. It has one microphone, a glowing LED, but no camera, no screen. And the key thing is that there's no speaker, so it can't even talk back to you. It only responds via fake text messages. It connects to your phone via Bluetooth and runs Anthropic's Claude models, which is a capable enough large language model for non-critical applications like this. Since it has no internal storage, everything you say is encrypted and sent to the cloud. For battery, it promises 15 hours of active use, and there's no built-in productivity features. Its founder, Avi Schiffman, says that Friend isn't a digital assistant or a therapist. He calls it, quote, an AI friend and nothing else. And he also said, quote, it's an emotional toy, end quote. In his view, large language models work best when people talk about their feelings. His idea was to put that inside a piece of hardware, and he believes that that would create a stronger emotional bond. But even as a basic concept, I'm sure some of you can see a problem with the idea. What's the point of talking to the device if it only responds in text? And if that's the case, if this is the product you wanted to do, why not just text it? It could have just been an app instead of a physical device. But regardless, that pitch of an emotional toy, paired with early pricing, was enough to get some attention. The first batch went up for $99. And at the time of writing, a single unit costs $129. There's no subscription fee, at least for now. So the question is, does it actually work? The reviews so far are just brutal. Performance issues everywhere and annoying responses. And these responses often lag, and when they do arrive, they're fragmented. And sometimes the responses are so late that it misses the moment completely.
Another Ponzi scheme, right? Pay $100 for what? You got to be kidding me. I mean, these IT people are so fucking stupid. Or they come up with the dumbest idea. They come up with an idea that nobody cares about, nobody wants. It's just stupid. Oh, I'll charge $100. So we had to actually make this and design it. Another Harvard dropout, 22-year-old IT guy who's clueless. These IT people are all clueless. Bill Gates, clueless. The other guy, the Facebook guy, clueless. They don't know anything. They're just programmers. Oh, well, like the guy on the Joker, where he's guy. It was Lex Luthor, and he goes and he steals the design from MySpace. So he sees MySpace and he says, "Well, I'll do it, and I'll call it Facebook." It's already out there, and I won't charge, but I'll steal all your data and I'll sell it, and I'll make all this money because people want to do that. I mean, it just blows my mind. These IT guys, they're really killing a lot of stuff. They come out, nobody understands what they're doing or why, and it's all so stupid. Well, this way you can see a picture of your friend eating at McDonald's. Yeah, really, just what I wanted. You couldn't charge. that's why it's free. But then they got you eating McDonald's and they sell the data and say, look, he eats the McDonald's. So I've deleted my profile. The only thing I'm on that's his is WhatsApp. And that's just, well, even to talk to Daria now, we got to do Telegram because I can't even do WhatsApp because Russia's got a problem with WhatsApp. So we've gone to Telegram. So I talked to her on Telegram. I do use WhatsApp for a few other people, but now like here, Alyssa, we just text. She's not on WhatsApp or Telegram. So it's more international chat, but it's cheaper than a text message to Russia or the Ukraine or Germany or whatever. But that's it. But if he's stealing all your information and selling it, these guys are just a bunch of assholes, these IT guys, this guy here and everybody else. So anyway. Netflix is apparently wanting to buy Paramount, which, they're trying to get everybody into these apps, into watch Netflix, watch the football games. I mean, I'm thinking about this yesterday. Normally I'd watch a basketball game, on a Tuesday night or something. There's nothing on or that. And I can't because there isn't anything on TV that has it. Maybe the Amazon Prime or Apple. I'm not paying for that shit to watch this shit basketball game, to watch a guy sit out. Even if he played, I wouldn't care. But see, football's getting dangerous. They're crossing the line. They're still on regular TV, especially college football. Then they're trying to Christmas is Netflix and then we're going to show games in London, and then we're going to show games on Amazon Prime and the NFL Network. And, they're trying to get you to pay to watch. And I tell them to fuck off. If you don't have it on 2, 4, and 7, I'll just watch the replay on YouTube. I'm not going to pay to watch football. So football is like the one hanging in. Hockey, you can't find a game. Basketball, you can't find a game. And baseball, I think Saturday night you can find a game on Fox or something. What are these leagues doing? They're doing like IT. They're trying to sell you into buying Amazon Prime or buying Apple Prime or buying these, or Netflix. If Netflix takes over Paramount and buys them out, my rates go up. I'm paying $15 a month for Netflix without commercials. Well, if that goes up to $30, $40, I'll tell them to fuck off. I don't need see the Harry Potter movies or whatever, these DC and fuck that. I'm not interested in that. The Game of Thrones is over, and I never bought HBO to watch the Game of Thrones. They're missing the boat. Also, I showed you that video on how they're faking their numbers. So a lot of it is they say, oh, look at all the numbers on Netflix. It's not real. They're not. They're being done by AI, which is not accurate. So again, they're just scamming everybody into believing that there's more people watching than there are, and the advertisers will charge more. But then the advertisers want to charge me more at the grocery store, and I say, fuck off. Oh, I'll get the Meyer brand. They don't advertise. Oreo cookies, if they're Meyer brand or they're Oreo brand, are the same things, basically. So that's my whole point of view. I'm not going to get scammed into buying certain things or getting these, like I said, all you're doing is killing your own sport by not showing these games on regular TV. The kids aren't watching it. They're not growing up with baseball or basketball or hockey. They're not growing up with it. They don't see it. If you don't see it, you're not going to play it. So I don't get the whole thing, but I don't, I think basketball, well, they do have that Christmas game, but let's say tonight there's basketball games. Are any of them on TV? Well, let's take a look. Let's go into Yahoo. Let's see what our gold's doing. Still 5170, 8695. So nothing changed. So let's look at, let's go to the NBA. Let's see where we want to watch a game tonight, right? All right, so we have the Hornets and the Pacers on Fox Detroit. We have the Heat 76ers on Fox Detroit SS. We have another game on FDSS. We have a game on Yes. I don't even know what that is. Amazon, KUNPA, KFAA, SNLA, K Jazz for the Jazz, Utah, and Amazon. I can't watch any of those games. I don't have those channels. I'm not going to pay for Amazon. Well, what's the big deal about Amazon? So, this is Amazon. You're a fucking carrier service. I'm going to call up and order a water from you because it's 10 cents cheaper. But then I'm going to have to pay $5 in shipping. So guess what? I'm not even going to use you. I'll go to Meijer's or Target or Walmart to go get water, right? I don't need to get it delivered. I'm not an invalid where fortunately I can get in my car, I can drive to the store, I can walk around the store and I can get it. Fortunately, I don't need to sit there like an idiot paying for Amazon to deliver something for me. So I don't know what KJazz, KFAA, KUNP, Yes, FDSS, FDSI. I don't know what any of that is. Let's see, the Pistons. Okay, this game's actually on ESPN, which I don't get. And Yes, and FD, and KF, and ESPN. So on Friday night, there's some ESPN games. Let's go to Saturday, a normal day. KUN. Let's just see. Amazon, TSN, ABC, Lakers and the Warriors are actually at 8:30. I can actually watch a normal game Saturday night. How about Sunday? That's the big day. There's an ABC game. There's two ABC games. So there is activity on Sunday. And that's it. Let's go to the NHL and see if there's any games I can watch on the NHL network. So let's go to scores. And let's go to Friday night. Is there any game I can watch? And then we'll go to the weekend and we'll see why these sports are failing. ESPN has hockey, which I don't get. ABC's got a noon game, a 3:00 game, and then ESPN, why are they showing it on ESPN as opposed to ABC? Big mistake. And then Sunday, TNT, ESPN Plus, and one ESPN game. So ESPN Plus is not ESPN. It's like a sub channel of that. But because I have Spectre, I can't even get ESPN. So you did have, I think, one or two games on ABC, I think on Saturday. So that's it. But normally during the week, I can't watch it. Baseball, I know there's a Saturday game. So it's how are you? It's like marketing. I want to be on commercials to market myself to say, hey, that's what marketing is. Having the games on ABC and CBS and NBC is marketing game. But if you want to have it on these stupid stations, especially NBA and hockey's on ESPN Plus, probably not going to watch that. I'm sure not going to pay for that. And again, I don't have cable anymore, but ESPN's clueless. They should have games on ABC more regularly because God knows that crap they have on ABC, nobody's watching. So again, nobody's watching. There's no interest in the game, and there goes your sport. I didn't watch 1 second of the Olympics. I'm actually embarrassed to be an American now with all these wars we're doing, the way we handle COMEX, the way the banks deceive everybody and bankrupt everybody. It's a sad country. I don't like this whole. They've killed Ukraine. This whole war with Russia. It's the U.S. on a proxy war. I never heard of a proxy. So you imagine Hitler. Yeah, we're gonna not have the Germans fight for us. We'll have the Italians fight for us. And then we're in Venezuela. We're in Iran. This is fucked. I am embarrassed to be an American. What is all this bullying and defense contractors? And you gotta, sorry, you guys gotta buy defense weapons and pay us billions of dollars for our defense weapons. I don't really have that money, and I think I can go make the weapons myself. Thank you. And why is it all about the defense contractors making money as the country goes broke? So I just don't get all these wars. I don't get where they think having the war and making people buy the defense contractor is good for the country and bad. It's good for inflation. It'll stop inflation. And they're so wrong. They're so stupid. Again, idiots not knowing, not understanding. So that's what is going on. Any other questions, comments, John C? Anybody? So I know there's a lot of watchers, but I'm not getting a lot of comments. But please feel free to ask questions or say you don't know something or understand it. But I try to show you some good video. Today, the AIs I saw, so I thought I'd enter that. Poker. Again, I've been watching a lot of poker. And I noticed with Daniel Negreanu, and I'll leave with this comment. He plays like an idiot. He always calls. He's got a bluff problem. I'm going to call. I got nothing, but I think you're bluffing me. And the biggest pet peeve I have with Daniel Negreanu is he says, oh, yeah, I bet you have kings. And the guy's like, okay. And he's got nines. And he knows the guy's got aces or kings. And he's got nines. And he calls anyway. And why are you calling? If you know you're beat, you got to fold. I folded aces because I know I'm beat, even though I got aces. And then there was that Gus Hansen hand where Gus catches 4 5s and Daniel has a boat. 6 is full of 5s, right? So it came 6 5 5, and Daniel has a pair of 6s. So he's got a full house with 6s. Gus had a full house with 5s, and Gus catches the 4th 5. Now Daniel knows that Gus caught the 4 5, but he calls him anyway. Well, what can I do? I have to call. I got a full house. And that goes back to my story of when I got the straight flush to the royal flush, right? I got a straight flush. The guy screams at 7-card stud with the spit. There's, king, queen, ace of diamonds. He's screaming. Obviously, he got the royal flush because he wouldn't scream with with the flush. So I know I'm beat. Well, I'm not raising. I'm not, the guy bet whatever, $2, $3 was, that's all you could bet. And so I did call and I knew he had the hand, but it was only $2 or $3. But if it was a big bet, I would have folded, even though I have a straight flush. Or maybe I would have had to seen it because how often do you get a straight flush? But that was it. I don't think Daniel knows he's beat and still calls. And you're like, you're an idiot, especially in the tournaments. These guys call in the tournaments. They're crazy. I mean, the guy goes all in and you got, well, I got an ace and a 7. I'm going to call his all in because he's only got 200,000 chips and I got 1 million or whatever. And they lose. And then they end up losing because they, let's play a race. Well, maybe I'll get lucky and catch a king on the river. That's the problem I see in poker. It's a lot of, I know I'm beat, but I got to call. What am I supposed to do? So I'm going to call knowing I'm beat. No, if you know you're beat, that's part of it is to fold the hand. And that's okay. You can win the hand like that. All right. I think that's enough. And any other questions or comments, let me know. www.tjking.com. You can float around on my website on it's football. I need to add this gold and silver, but anyway, keep in mind, you want to buy gold, you want to buy silver, because in my best definition on inflation, increase in the money supply decreases the purchasing power. So the more they print of this, the less value it has. And oh, by the way, they can't print this, so this can't lose value. And if we just understand it like that, and we don't do what Cart did, where he's trying to make $5 over the weekend or sell it yesterday and buy, it doesn't work like that. It's priced in COMEX. It's all options. When it goes a little high, they're going to short it because they can. And then when it gets a little low, they're going to buy it. They're going to put it. They're going to call it, put down, call out. They're going to make call options that they want the price to go up. You're dealing in options. You're not dealing in that. If you were dealing with physical free market, it would never go down because you're not printing it and the value would never drop. And all you do is print this and the value keeps going down. So keep that in mind. So, first of all, you got to know what you're doing. You got to understand to play the game. Yes, you want to buy gold and silver, but it's not something I'm going to buy. Oh, I'm going to buy it today and sell it tomorrow or sell it Monday because I owe my dad because I borrowed from my dad. No, if you're going to borrow from your dad, it's not to buy gold or silver off of COMEX. It's to buy the gold and silver and just hold it and watch it go from $20 an ounce to $90 an ounce. Then, okay. And then but this took, at least a year. Last year, it went from like 40. So it finally broke 35, got to 40, and now it's 90. Okay, that happened not too long ago, right? That's 5-6 months. And that's what should happen. It should just keep going. But again, you're dealing with COMEX, and JP Morgan wants to short it because if it goes up too high too fast, he's going to make money shorting it. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. It's a futures market for who? Idiots? This is the stupidest. It's not a futures market. Please give me a break. You're not dealing in physical. It is not. What's the price? Well, it went from 90 to 88. Well, what's the price? Oh, then it went back to 90. Is the price 90? Is it 89? Nobody fucking knows. It's stupid. Just buy it and hold it and really don't pay much attention to COMEX. You're not trying to sell it right away. You're not really trying to sell it, but if you do need it, you do keep an eye on the COMEX price to say, hey, okay, wow, silver's a 120. Maybe I'll sell an ounce. That's the only reason we're watching COMEX. We know it's fake. We know the prices are fake. So keep that in mind. Anyway, hope you got something out of it. AI, it's a disaster. Keep an eye on all these IT things. If you start hearing AI or IT, or Zuckerberg did this, Bill Gates did that, just run. Don't buy their stock. You buy all their stock. You bought Facebook stock and, it goes up. There's no value in the company. They don't make any money. They don't sell a product. He sells your information to the Russians. What kind of fucking business model is that? Well, we'll get all these people for free, so we're not making money on them. We'll sell advertising, which nobody wants to see on Facebook or anything. The biggest losers are the people that advertise on YouTube, because when I'm watching YouTube, I'm watching one of these things that I'm showing you. It goes to commercial, and all I'm doing is looking at the clock. I don't even know what product it is, and especially if it's like a 10-second one. Then I'm counting down and skipping it. I can't tell you the product, and very, very rarely is it a product I need or would want. So, because if I need something, I go into Google and I search it, and that's what I do. Like I did with the tax rate. And then understanding that if it's capital gains and I don't make 50 grand, I pay 0 in tax. So that's it. All right. Have a good day. www.teaserking.com. I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow should be a bad day for gold and silver, probably because it's the last day of the month. And then Sunday night, Monday, it should be right back. I mean, I'm still, the change, that doesn't change. It just ebbs down a little bit. Then comes back out. So it might go to 85 and then it'll be 90 Monday. And the same thing, gold won't go down much. And we got to 5,200. So now let's get to 5,500 and go from there. All right. Have a nice day, everybody. Take care. Enjoy. Eat healthy. Drink a lot of water. And buy your gold and silver. All right. Take care.